All right, the week is finally here. It's WrestleMania week. Welcome to Tables, Ladders, and Conversations. I'm Deremy Dove. That's my tag team partner, Mr. Tim Lewis. And I have to ask, Tim Lewis, I want you to be honest. It's the week of. We are here. This weekend is WrestleMania 42. Are you hyped for it? Are you in the middle? Are you underwhelmed? How are you feeling going into WrestleMania week?
If I'm being perfectly honest, and I think I stated this on a previous reaction or prediction episode we did a few months ago, like after or before Elimination Chamber, saying that I wasn't really feeling the hype for it like I did, like, say, last year, where it was like so much hype behind it. But then the actual event, WrestleMania, ended up kind of being underwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had a
Yeah.
lot of hype going into it, and then it fell flat. Where this year, it's not, the hype isn't really there for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's still WrestleMania, so I'm still gonna watch it because I'm a fan. So I mean, that's part of the reason why I still have some excitement. And there's a few matches that I really do want to see that I'm looking forward to, but overall, I gotta be honest, I'm just underwhelmed, just based off the build up and because they kind of got a late start. With starting to build up, anticipation for some of these matches. But we'll see. I mean, that could work in their favor, and the show could deliver. They could go all out, and it could be a great event, and we could forget about the lackluster buildup. But for right now, in this moment, until WrestleMania weekend starts, for right now, nah, I'm a little bit underwhelmed, to say the least.
Okay, I hear you. I think I've been hyped more in some recent WrestleMania, especially the last two. I've had more excitement leading into the WrestleMania weekend than I have this year. I do think it kind of got it going toward the end, like getting the hype, but it did take a lot longer than to me usual. What I'm looking at though is I'll be shocked. I'm going to be real with you and the listeners. I'm shocked if it's like we talk on Monday or a Sunday night, we do our reaction show and we're like, oh, this was a great WrestleMania. I don't see great in it, but I think it could be good. I think it's one of those ones where it's underwhelming, but we could have some exciting matches that's like, hey, this was actually better than what I thought. So I'm kind of like hoping like underwhelming buildup means my expectations can be lowered and then they can exceed them, then like great build up, and then it's like, can you match this hype, or are you just setting yourself up to go down? So I'm hoping underwhelming, kinda, but we can be impressed.
Yeah, man. Like I said before, I think because there are low expectations because the lackluster build up until like the last couple weeks, I think that could work in their favor if they're smart. If they just let the talent go out there, just tell a good story in the ring, put on great matches. I think it would go over pretty well, and we can forget about it because there have been WrestleManias in the past where the build up has been kind of lackluster, but the event itself was great. You know what I'm saying? And then there's WrestleManias that were overhyped with the build up, like you had great builds and great stories, and then they kind of fell flat. You know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah,
go either way. It's 50-50.
and I'm excited. Let's see if ESPN can show their keep here. They've really hyped it up this week. I say last like building up these past couple weeks, but this week a lot of ESPN coverage on WrestleMania, which is good because this is their first year hosting it. But this will be big for me too because show me something, Disney, of why you guys partnered together. Then I need to see it graphics wise and all that look amazing on here. So I'm also going to be curious about that. Let's see how ESPN does with their first time hosting uh, WrestleMania.
Yeah, and also if you notice, like the new model they're doing for how they're presenting WrestleMania for both nights is so Saturday night, night one, they're broadcasting the first hour of WrestleMania on ESPN2,
Mm-hmm.
and then Sunday night, night two, they'll be on ESPN proper, the main ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
for the first hour of WrestleMania. So how you feel about that? Like, I mean, this is it's big, you know what I'm saying, and it's something different than we're usually seeing. Like, how you feel about that?
It's smart. I think it's a smart ploy to try to get people because I'm sure also a lot of people, if you're not us, the casual fans may not know where it's at. I'm a big sports guy, and with the streaming world getting into sports and getting events, I always stay on top and know, like, okay, this baseball game's on Apple, this one's on Peacock, this football game's going to be on Peacock, this playoff game's here. But a lot of people who are fans of football or fans of the sport are always tripped up, like, where is it at? So I bet you there's a lot of casual fans who like want to watch WrestleMania but aren't thinking like, oh, they have this contract. And especially with ESPN because it's still those worlds they've come together in recent years, but they were always separate. So I think it's good. I'm surprised they didn't put it on ABC even for that first hour to really get that's what I would have done. At least for one of the nights, Saturday or Sunday night. I don't know if there's a NBA game on, but one of them, I would have put them on ABC and ESPN2 or ESPN, probably both ABC and ESPN for that first hour to get more eyeballs on the product. That's just me. So I think it's smart to do that.
Yeah, and I guess this is maybe just a test run to see how it works for this year because this is the first year that ESPN is hosting WrestleMania and stuff. So maybe in future years, if this turns out to be successful, maybe they do move to ABC or something like that. Maybe they give ESPN like 1 hour, ABC the second hour, and then the third hour, ESPN Plus. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you can watch the whole thing on ESPN Plus anyway, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it depends on how it goes because they want that money. So I don't, because some people, I wouldn't mind doing that, but if they could get it for free-ish, technically if you get cable, you're paying for cable. But if they can, you don't have to buy a subscription package with ESPN for 2 of like the 3 hours or 2 of the 4 hours. Sometimes WrestleMania can go long. You might be satisfied. Some people maybe not, but some people might be like, I got 2 hours for free. I'm good. So that's kind of, I would like it. I hope they do what you say, but I kind of wonder if they'll give 2 free hours next year. I guess it'll depend on what their numbers are and stuff. But I'm intrigued with some of these matches, and for everyone watching us, I think we should get right into it. So we're going to start night 1 matches, and then we'll get to night 2 matches. We'll give our predictions about who's going to win, but also our predictions about what kind of match do we think this will be. Will it be an exciting one? Will it be underwhelming? What will it be? So there's so many places to start on night 1, but let's get right into it, man.
Yes.
Let's start with the championship match. Let's start with the main event. Let's start with your boy, the champ, Cody Raheem Rhodes.
Whoa.
Headlining WrestleMania Night 1. Usually he's been a Night 2 guy past few years. He's on Night 1. What's that say, Tim Lewis? I don't know.
Hey, look, Roman Reigns, acknowledge him, was on Night 1. He was the Night 1 main event last year with CM Punk.
No, because John Cena was back. Not because of Cody. Because John Cena came back. That makes sense. So I get that. Cena's a big name. But Randy Orton has Pat McAfee. Once again, Cody needs celebrity factor to get interest in his matches for WrestleMania. 3rd year in a row.
Well,
Pat McAfee is celebrity, even though he is a commentator at times, but still a celebrity factor. So just point that out.
Well, is it the fact that Cody need the celebrity factor, or is it the fact that they want to work with him? I feel like it's more so they want to work with him because they know he's the guy.
I think 2 things can be true. And I do think that Cody is likable. People want to work with Cody. I've heard nothing but positive things about working with Cody, so I don't discredit what you say. But for me, they need to be juiced up a bit. And I think more than ever this year needed some juice because that was really falling flat leading up to it with him, Randy, Drew in there. Like it was snooze. So it needed something. And like I'm not even coming at Cody, just being real.
Oh, I got you. And it definitely was like that weird period between like January and February where it seemed like kind of convoluted. Like where are we going with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this title match going to look like? Like we all speculated maybe it was going to be a fatal 4-way that included Drew heading into Mania as champion. We thought Jacob Fatu was going to be involved, Randy, Cody. Like we thought it was going to be a fatal 4-way, and it turns out it's not going to be that. So I guess they changed plans, and then we get Randy and Cody, which is still a good match by itself. They have almost 20 years of history, so it makes sense. It's WrestleMania. Adding Pat McAfee, it's kind of out of left field, not going to lie. But I said on our podcast, on our latest episode, which you can hear later on too, that I'm not mad at the pairing with Pat and Randy because I do feel like with Randy in his current heel role, we've never seen Randy with a manager. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always been in factions, but he's never like had like a manager. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, and Pat McAfee, like we've seen him play a heel before in NXT back in like 2020 when he was feuding with Adam Cole, the Undisputed Era. Like he knows how to draw heat, but we've seen him play a face for so long. It's like, okay, it's Pat, he's cool, whatever. Um, it's just the timing of it is just kind of off because the focus should mainly be on Randy and Cody and their 20-year history in the WWE title. That should be the focus right now. And it's like Pat is kind of taking the attention away from that. You know what I'm saying? Also, I just want to bring up a bit of breaking news too, because recently on the last episode of SmackDown, um, Pat McAfee and Randy Orton they jumped Cody, they took his title.
Yep.
So today it came up that Cody Rhodes crashed the set of Pat McAfee's podcast.
Yeah. He got the idea from Rich Eisen. I know what's up. I watched Rich Eisen.
Yeah, he was on Rich Eisen recently too, and Rich Eisen asked like, "So what are you gonna do?" You know what I'm saying? So he
Which was
took
a plug. Rich Eisen now works with. He was independent. He was gone from ESPN for 20 something
yeah
years. He's back he's back home. He had a big night Sunday night. His first Sports Center. He did one last year, but his first one in Bristol. So shout out my man Rich Eisen.
yeah
Always got love for him. But it was brought up all casually, and I'm like, I sniffed out a rat right there. I'm like, he's gonna do something. And then it was like, oh yeah, of course, they're all in the ESPN Disney fam. So that was a setup. Rich, to his credit, before this with TJ and
hmm
O'Shea O'Jackson, they under the Rich Eisen network, they have like their popular wrestling podcast. So Rich, to his credit, thanks to TJ Jefferson, has been talking wrestling. So he's not a Johnny come lately. Seth Rollins goes on a lot, different people. So I will say that, but I don't know, man. It's cool, but I wish they didn't say anything at all because that's kind of like tipped it off a little bit.
yeah, they kind of like maybe let it slip a little bit, and I think that's probably what tipped us off. But it's still a great, brilliant like crossover marketing campaign, for this match and stuff. So it's a great tie-in. You know what I'm saying? It gets a little bit more buzz going around ESPN and stuff like that, and it adds to the build up for this match and stuff. So it was a nice little crossover like tie-in,
So maybe Pat McAfee's needed.
more or less. I mean,
You
I
can't
was,
do this without him being in it. Like it would make no sense. So you couldn't do this.
I mean, is he needed for the story or is he needed just for WrestleMania in general? Like, is he needed overall?
I'm asking you about this. I think for the story. I think if Pat McAfee wasn't a part of the story, I don't. I mean, maybe for the. Even though I love the broadcasting, I love him as a broadcaster,
Yes,
but
me
I
too.
love the broadcasting team they have. But maybe might say that there, where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind hearing Pat broadcasting. But I don't think WrestleMania is so big. I'm not like WrestleMania needed Pat McAfee, but I think this story needed something. Yeah, it did.
I
It was
mean,
stale, Tim. It was stale.
you thought it was stale?
I thought the story was stale. You know me, I wanted to see Randy fight Drew for a while. But I think if you have Randy versus Drew, Pat McAfee, maybe it makes sense, but I don't know if it would be as good.
Well, let me chime in. Unless you have something else you want to add to it.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so like I said before, when we was talking about Elimination Chamber and everything like that on our reactions, and it was set, it was going to be Cody and Randy and stuff like that. Now, I wouldn't be mad at Randy and Drew. They have history a little bit, but Cody and Randy, they got 20 years of history, almost 20 years. Cody's first match on Monday Night Raw on the main roster was against Randy Orton. They were in legacy together. You know what I'm saying? They both come from wrestling dynasties, wrestling family dynasties, and stuff like that. You know, it's the classic teacher versus student type of scenario. I feel like you could have built on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, think back to 2002 when Shawn Michaels came back and he faced Triple H. Like that was 5 years in the making from 97 to 2002. Like that
But guess
friendship.
what? Maybe for the fan who didn't watch it 5 years earlier, you give a little bit backstory, but how long you took to explain all this, and you're not the only one. Everyone has been doing that. When you have real history and a real rivalry, you don't need to say all that stuff because Cody And Randy is not a rivalry people give two craps about. Let's be real. People like them. People care about those performers, but that's not who you think of for Randy's biggest rival. That's not who you think of for Cody's biggest rival. So
It
the
could
fact
be.
that you have to, I don't think that of Randy Orton as Cody's. I mean, they're trying to build that now,
That's what
but
I'm saying.
pre
That's
this,
what I'm saying. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying it could be, depending on how the story goes and how the matches are and stuff.
I
It
think
could
that's the
be.
problem, though. Like, stop giving me you have history when you have to dig up the history and like I have to be like, oh yeah, they were in the Legacy group, which was a faction that no one cared about, and they
What?
sucked. They
What?
weren't that good with Ted DiBiase Jr. You saw potential, but when that was over, I didn't. What makes them known is the fact that two of the three have had great careers afterwards and stood out. But that's not like the Shield or something, or even like Nexus, like the Legacy group, where it's like whatever.
I mean, Cody and Ted Jr. They did beat DX at SummerSlam, so you gotta give them
Ain't
something.
nobody care about that. Come on, man. Nobody care about that. You know, when I say two names that have history, you just say the names. And maybe for the novice you explain it, but people know. For us, I was like, oh yeah, and then you're giving I don't care that they come from wrestling families. Those families didn't feud. It wasn't like the Rhodes and the Ortons, Dusty and Cowboy Bob had a thing and blah blah blah. Like I don't. When you have to say all that, you're dragging. You're going a lot for the storyline, in my opinion.
I'm just saying they have enough that they can pull from, that they can make it a great story and stuff. Like we still bring up the custody battle for Dom from 20 years ago, and you know what I'm saying, and think of how that adds on to Dom's legacy and stuff.
But that was an added thing. But Rey Mysterio and Eddie has such great history. So many you knew their rival. It wasn't like they're rivals. Everyone knew there was a rivalry there. So like they did add to it, but you also knew it made sense because there was a long ride. There isn't a long. There's a long association, I would say. Like they've been around each other for a while. You know that, especially as they've gotten older in the locker room, they're two of the respected guys. They've traveled the road, so like they've associated for a while, but there's not like in my opinion, those are two rivals. I don't think of the two of them and think of the other one. You know what I mean? Randy Orton, I'm thinking about like Cena and stuff. Like, yes, that's easy. I don't do that for like Randy and Cody. It just doesn't click.
Well, let me ask you this, just to shift gears. So as far as like Cody and Randy, do you think, when you see how it's playing out, like the betrayal and the lead into WrestleMania is for the championship, and they're stressing that Randy's going after number 15, similar to last year when Cena he
Hmm.
turned heel, betrayed Cody. He's going for number 17. Like, do you think they realized they messed up last year? They kind of botched by including a celebrity, just like they have a celebrity involved in this one. Do you think they're trying to like redo last year and try to do it better? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a little bit. I think they're
Yeah,
not making it carbon copy, but it's very similar
that's what I
where
thought
you
too.
have someone going for the title again who like is like a legacy thing, like they're an all-time great and Cena got the record, but Randy can be close to the record if he wins Saturday night. And then this is better. Pat McAfee's a celebrity, but he has association, so he gets it, unlike Travis Scott. And then it's the whole like he's what's good for business. And so like John Cena, when he was talking and when he won, it was like I'm the last real champion, which could have been good, but it fell flat. They didn't go far enough with it. And Pat McAfee saying that, like, to save the wrestling business, we need Randy Orton. And so it's like very similar in my opinion. Yeah.
It's like the multiverse. It's like you're seeing parallel stories and similar different universes and stuff like that. It's like a canon event, like Spider Verse or something like that.
Before we get into like predictions, I just want to add one more question. Do you think there's truth? Like with John Cena, I didn't really feel, even though at first I was intrigued with his I'm the last real champion. At first I'm like, maybe there could be truth, but I feel like there's no truth in it. Do you think Pat McAfee, with what he has said and he's gotten under Cody's skin, gotten under your boy Phil, CM Punk's skin? Do you think there's some truth to some of the the truth bombs, wink, wink, that Pat McAfee has dropped about saving the business and not enough interest in the business.
Oh, 100%. Like I feel like when I first heard him say that promo, I felt like he was an avatar for some people, like in the IWC, the Internet Wrestling community, who had complaints and concerns. And even some parts of that promo I thought you wrote for him, because when he started ragging on Cody, you know what I'm saying, about him being a disappointment and not being the guy we thought he was and stuff. I thought you wrote that for him or something like that.
Nah, real knows real. Real
Yeah,
sees real. That's all it is.
I know you popped at that part though. I know you popped for that one.
I'm just, you know what I do now? Since we do this podcast, even before the podcast, you've been on Cody. All I do is like go, thank you, Tim. Do you hear what they're saying? Do you hear it's not me. It's not my bias. It's just facts. So I appreciated that part for sure from Mr. McAfee because, I'm still waiting on Raheem. I'm still waiting on Cody Raheem Rhodes to
And Cody
be
got
the
him back to say.
guy I thought I wanted him to surprise me. He's doing what I thought he would do.
And Cody, he came back later that same night and flamed him later that same night in the promo.
No, he didn't flame him. You
You
think he
sure?
flamed Pat
You,
McAfee?
you sure?
Cody's not a flame guy.
He's had some pretty good promos recently. You know
I
what I'm
think he's had like a couple.
saying? More than a couple.
Even the Stephanie thing and him getting smacked. But
That was really good too. That was a really good promo. Even you got to admit, like that was
we
really
talked
good.
about that. I think
Yeah.
off air that lacked. It wasn't clear. I love Stephanie. I'm excited to see her get in the Hall of Fame. I follow her podcast. I'm a big Stephanie McMahon fan, even back then. But as the years have gone on, I respect her more and more. So that's number one. So I always kind of pop to see Stephanie because I think she's interesting. I like to hear she has a lot of experience. She's in I think she earned her stripes. Yes, her dad was the boss, but she earned everything she gets and then some. I don't look at Nepo baby with her at all. And then she's entertaining. She's really good. Yeah, I think behind the scenes as a businesswoman, she's great, but as a on air talent, she's great. So I liked seeing Stephanie, but I was just like, what are we doing? They're in this heated thing here. She's trying to motivate him and then he
That's
brings up the father, which could have been good, but then I'm just like, are you complimenting Vince or not? I think it would be more interesting if you would have taken a shot at Vince and then she slaps him.
I think that was done on purpose, because that could have been like, because I come from music, so we call that, like, I guess that would be like a double entendre, in a way, where it's like, is that an insult or is that a compliment? You know what I'm saying? Like, or is it both? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I think that was probably done on purpose to kind of make it stink. But it was a really good promo. Like, she was just merely there for nostalgia, for one, two, to motivate Cody and get him in that mindset, get him ready to face, this deadlier version of Randy Orton, to get him ready for WrestleMania.
Okay, so let me ask you predictions here because there's a stipulation. And now I didn't check on McAfee's contract, or I don't know if he wants a break from wrestling. So the stipulation, though, going to the storyline, that if Randy loses, McAfee is gone from wrestling forever, all that stuff. Which, like I said, I haven't checked to see if McAfee anything there could be, but maybe not. If he's looking to leave, because he has a busy schedule with the show, with game day. His daughter's probably like 2 or 3, but like has a young daughter. I don't know. I would totally get it. Like, if he wants to keep going, he's been great. If he wants to slow down and take something off his plate, the man's earned that too. So, all that being said, with that stipulation, it could be there's no way Randy's losing because Pat McAfee's still going to be part of WWE. So, I want to know what you think. Who's going to win Saturday night, Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes?
Who I think should or who I think will?
Give me both.
Okay. I think Cody should win this, just because his record overall at WrestleMania is right now is 3-9. 3 wins, 9 losses. And he's supposed to be the face of the company, so to speak. And, he needs a big win. And he needs some redemption from last year with Cena and, the botched Travis Scott spot and all that stuff like that. He needs some redemption But I think Randy will ultimately win. And I do think the crowd's going to be like split 50-50, similar to last year, because there are fans that do want to see Randy get number 15 and get close to, tying Cena and eventually breaking the record too. And also, the reason I think Randy will win is just because there's a plan in place to set up a follow-up match for Backlash. That'll include Randy Orton and Pat McAfee teaming up, take on Cody Rhodes and another celebrity who's involved and been shoehorned to this storyline. That's Jelly Roll. So that's rumored for Backlash. I don't know if it's like concrete as of now, but that's the rumored main event for Backlash: Cody and Jelly Roll versus Randy and Pat. And if Randy wins, that means Pat will stick around and he'll be involved in the match. So
Yeah.
I think ultimately Randy's going to win.
Okay. I think Randy will win. I think Randy should win. Very easy.
Didn't
The
even think about it.
only thing you can give Cody is if you want to, if I don't know if that really matters to them, but besides half the second day of WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania has usually not been good for him. I know you gave the record, but even in his time since he returned and left AEW and came back, WrestleMania 39 disappointing. Like I said, night one technically of WrestleMania 40 was disappointing, which we understood that set up something bigger. And then last year, disappointing for him. So that's the only thing that you can say to me that makes sense in Cody winning. Right now, there would be more intrigue, and let's see what just like with Cena last year. Cena was retiring, but let's see what Randy Orton means, what he does with this, and by McAfee being that, that mouthpiece for him, and he's saving wrestling. Let's see what that means. Let's see him work the crowd, and half of them love him, half of them hate him. And Cody Rhodes, if you're putting him in the main event spot, he is really the only thing he's good at is chasing it. So he needs to chase something. He's not good at being a top dog, in my opinion. I still stand by that. So let him chase.
That's the hard thing about being a babyface in wrestling. It's not just Cody. I think it's any babyface, with a few exceptions, like maybe Stone Cold, Hogan, maybe Cena.
I would put Cena there.
Those are like maybe the three exceptions. Maybe The Rock too. Those are like maybe the four exceptions as far as baby faces that they can be over with or without the title. It's chasing or on the run, but it's hard being a baby face in wrestling because after like 3 months, people already get tired of you and they like, oh, we want to see somebody else get it. It's getting stale. So wrestling fans, they switch up quick. You know what I'm saying? It's like that flavor of the month thing is real. You know what I'm saying? They switch up quick on you. So, but to Cody's credit, he's been over this long, and it wasn't until like maybe last year and even like just now, like you hear like some fans turn on him, but he still, the next week he gets it right back. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know what it is, but I do think it is important for him to at least get a big win at Mania outside of WrestleMania 40 night 2 main event, because, and while those other losses, they were for like storyline purposes to like build up, his arc and stuff like that, make it more meaningful for WrestleMania 40. And I feel like he needs something big, especially if you want to position him to be like on that same level as a Roman and be the face of the company and stuff like that. So I think
Yeah.
he needs. I think
There's something there. I will totally agree with you. It is you hear all the time, and it's true. It is harder to be a baby face than a heel. So I give Cody that like leeway. Like it's not easy to be a pure baby face. That is very hard to do and still keep the interest. But when you're the top guy, you're going to be judged by the highest standards. You just are. So I you sign up for it, and then hey, you can do things to your character to make. If you're signing up for this, you're sticking with it. Cena went from thugonomics to the all American hero. Like he still was a babyface, but he switched it up. So I give Cody a little pass, but still not much. And I'm still waiting. I haven't given up hope, but I'm still waiting. But I think Randy Orton will win, and that's my prediction. And he should win just for the intrigue.
okay,
That's me.
okay.
Okay, so we talked a lot about, rightfully so. There's been a lot going on, including the breaking news today with Cody dropping by the Thunderdome in Indianapolis to shake up the Pat McAfee show. So very cool. But we'll keep it on to night one, and I'm going to switch it up here. I'm going to the ladies.
Ooh.
I'm going to a fatal 4-way tag team match for the women's tag team championships. I'm talking about the irresistible forces, Miss Nia Jax and the lovely Lash Legend versus the legend Charlotte Flair
Woo.
and the incomparable Alexa Bliss versus the amazing Bailey and Miss Lyra versus the Bella Twins.
Also, some other breaking news too. So Nikki Bella, I don't know if you noticed, but recently she sprained her ankle or hurt her ankle, and she's trying to rehab it to get better for WrestleMania. But it is questionable at the moment as of this recording. Like, we don't know what the status of that injury is, and so originally they had planned 6 women's matches for this year's WrestleMania, which, by the way, would be a record because I think the most they had is like maybe 4, which I believe this year they had 4 also. But I think
Yeah.
6 women's matches at WrestleMania, like, that's
It
unheard
would have
of.
been great, but they shit the bed on that too.
So they ended up canceling 2 matches. So we were supposed to get Asuka versus Io Sky. No mention of that. You know what I'm saying? They had the perfect opportunity to set that up, make it official on Raw. No mention of it. So we'll probably get the payoff later on. And then we're supposed to get Julia defending the Women's United States Championship against Tiffany Stratton, which is even more mind-boggling because Tiffany Stratton just last year walked in as the women's champion and wrestled Charlotte Flair.
Why is that mind-boggling to you?
Because it seemed like they were pushing her to be like one of the top female stars of the company, and then
I think they were, but I'm not saying it. Obviously, there's always a story behind the story. She's fallen flat since SummerSlam. I have not been impressed with Tiffany Stratton, to be quite honest with you. Since her win at her match against Jade at SummerSlam, which she won that match. After that, before she lost to Jade, and then everything else, including her at Elimination Chamber, she was the least impactful person in that. I said it on our show before. So she, and maybe it could be the booking too, but she hasn't impressed me.
I think, well, when she took time off to rehab the injury after she lost title at Saturday Night's Main Event last November, I think, that time off and then trying to get back into the swing of things at the Rumble, she had like a rough start trying to get back into it. So it's like when you're gone, it's like out of sight, out of mind for most fans and stuff like that.
Yeah, as someone who supports the women like we do, and then I love the women's division. I've said many times on our podcast and on here on YouTube, the women's division is what kept me in it the past 10 years, number one, and I enjoy it. I would have loved to have seen 6 because that would have been awesome. 6 women's matches.
Would have been amazing.
I don't know if I need to see those 2. So, like, I'm going to be real. I still want to see the progress. So I would have loved to have seen it, but those are 2 matches that I'm not like, what? We don't have? Now, even before, you know how I feel about the Bella Twins, even before this injury. What I will say is, as a 4th in the Fatal 4 tag match, take out the Bella Twins, and if you gave me Io and Asuka or Julia and Tiffany, that's a better 4th team to me than the Bella Twins. I'd rather see them in this match than the Bellas.
That's why I brought it up because so you got Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, their team. So that's the reason why they scrapped those 2 matches, just in case they needed a replacement, because I guess they're real set on this being a fatal 4-way, which they can easily make this a triple threat. I feel like this match works as a triple threat with Lash and Nia, Bailey and Lyra, and Charlexa. I feel like it works with them 3. I think that match will cook with just them 3, but I guess they're dead set on a fatal 4-way for whatever reason.
I think I'd rather them 3 than, I'm not trying to be mean even, but I'm be real, than the Bella Twins. If you take the Bella Twins out and you give me Kabuki Warriors, let's do a fatal 4-way. Let's let all hell break loose at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But if you give me the Bella Twins, and for those who love the Bella Twins, I'm sorry. Did they have an impact with Total Divas? Yeah. They just don't do it for me in the ring. Like, they never have. They're not exciting in the ring to me. So I'm like, I rather a different team. And if the Bellas are healthy, good to go, then I stand by you. They could have been fine with just the other 3 teams. It would have been a great match.
Right, because I guess they canceled the other 2 matches just so the actual teams could be on standby. Like, okay, you got the other team. I mentioned Kabuki Warriors, who are also on standby, but also you got Julia and Kiana James, who are a team on SmackDown. They're also a viable option to replace the Bellas too, just in case. So that's why they canceled that women's U.S. title match with Tiffany and Julia and stuff.
Yeah. So who do you number one? Well, I guess like are you excited for this match? I know there's some controversy, but how do you feel?
This match is okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like I'm not over the moon about it, but it's like it's okay. It's a decent match. Now, I know there's already a ladder match set for WrestleMania this weekend, and I think that's on night 2. We'll get to that later. But honestly, this could have been if it wasn't for the ladder match, the other one on the men's side, I would have been cool with this being a ladder match, just to kind of switch things up with the ladies. Like
Okay. Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's a multi-person tag match for the tag titles. I think this would have been a nice little switch up, especially for the ladies too. Like at WrestleMania,
Okay.
would have
Okay. I
done.
like that.
Yeah.
I can see that. I'm excited because of mainly number one team, the Irresistible Forces. I enjoy Nia Jax, always have, and she's gotten better. And we've talked about I love Lash Legend and what she's doing. I love watching them dominate their power. You know, seeing the best in both men and women, but like I love the power wrestlers. A lot of people like they always fascinate me, and I love seeing the ladies who have that power and use it, know how to use it well. And these two have used it well, and they've been a great heel team and a great heel champions. So I really am enjoying seeing them work. So that's number one. I do appreciate and love Charlotte and Alexa. Bailey's a legend. Lyra is exciting in the her. I need a little bit more from her character, but in the ring, I do enjoy watching Miss Lyra work. So I'm excited for this match, and I think even the Bellas can go. And I'm not wishing harm on nobody. I hope she is healthy. Nikki's healthy, so I don't wish anyone to be hurt. I think if the Bellas can go, we'll still get a good match because there's just too much. The other three teams, all six of those other wrestlers are great wrestlers.
Yes.
So I'll be surprised. Like we're going to have at minimum a good match. I'll be shocked if we're talking Sunday night and we're like that match stunk. I would be shocked by that. But who do you have winning, and who do you think should win in this match?
Well, I'm gonna pull a page out of your book from the last topic from the last match, and I'm just gonna say Nia and Lash, the Irresistible Forces, they should and will win this match. They
Oh,
absolutely they must win this match. They have to win.
oh,
They have to win this match for the sake of the division because now I'm with you. I love Charlotte and Alexa, and I think they're a great team. And I think it's the best thing that's happened to Charlotte in her career. This is the best version we got of Charlotte Flair, and I love that. You know what I'm saying? I like fun Charlotte. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely becoming a fan of her again. So, but they just recently had a run with titles, and I think if you want to switch things up, keep things fresh, like have them go on a chase for a little bit, or use this time to kind of make some tweaks to Alexa Bliss's character, you know what I'm saying, during that time, from the spring to the summertime and see where that goes from there. But yeah, I think to keep the division fresh, we just talked about how, baby faces, they're better at chasing the titles than they are keeping them. And,
Hmm.
Lash and Nia, they're great imposing like dominant heels. You know what I'm saying? So let them go on a run and run through all the babyface teams for a minute, for like at least until SummerSlam, maybe, or at the very least till whatever the June or July pay per view is, whatever that is. But I say at the very least till SummerSlam at maximum, you know. And just run through the whole division and just dominate, and that builds up Last Legends portfolio. You know what I'm saying? Builds her up, and yeah, we just go from there. That's my pick.
What do you think about, how I felt about Raquel Rodriguez in her performance at the Elimination Chamber?
Hmm.
But I think she would have been good in this match.
Yeah. Well,
Her and
I
Dakota?
think. You mean Roxy?
Or Roxy, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Dakota
Yeah.
Kai. She got released. She got released last year.
Yeah.
That would have been a great option too, and I'm sure they were probably considered. But after that ambush from Stephanie Vaquer and Liv and Roxy like bumping heads and everything, and they really did get hurt during that second. Like Liv, you saw she had a big knot in her forehead, and I believe Roxy, she also had like sort of like a mild concussion. Like they're both on concussion protocol, so I'm surprised that Liv is still cleared for that match. Was it Saturday? So I'm surprised she's still cleared because typically concussion protocol lasts for about maybe 3 weeks, and it's been 2 weeks so far. So I don't know how they're going to. I guess they're going to play it by ear and see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think if Roxy didn't get hurt again, because she just came back, which is sad. She just came back. I think they would have been another viable option, to replace the Bellas, possibly if Nikki can't go. So,
I think they should have been in, and I think honestly, you could have fun with it. They're creative people at WWE, and okay, Roxy's hurt, and Raquel needs another partner, and you put her with someone, and they could be an odd couple. Maybe it's like, man, I'm with EO, or oh boy, but hey, you got drawn together as that's what it matches up. That could have been entertaining. And honestly, then you give me people who I want to see in the match. And you're letting people, the Bellas have had that's what I don't like. The Bellas have had their time in the spotlight when there's plenty of people in the women's division who need that shine. And it'd be one thing if it's like the way which is a sexist world we live in, where with the men that can happen, but they're still like, okay, you give it to the people been there for so long, but the young upstarts are still not, they're on the show, right? I'm hearing names, even though I kind of gave Tiffany Stratton, I was tough on her. There's Io, Asuka, Tiffany. There's some Raquel. There's some exciting ladies who, as of right now, aren't going to be on WrestleMania. That's disappointing to me.
it really is. And when I look at this match, like this could have easily been like a tag team gauntlet, or I guess a tag team turmoil, where you could have had like multiple teams, interchange and come in throughout. Like you could have had a tag team like turmoil match. Like you could have included the Kabuki Warriors. You could have included Julia and Kiana. You could have put Tiffany with somebody, or you could have put Raquel with somebody. You could have put them together or something like that, like a makeshift team or something like that. There's no reason why, especially when you have two nights. You have a 2 night Mania. There's no reason why anybody should be getting left off the card right now.
Yes.
At least anybody with significant importance and that's over. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not talking about like the jobbers, the low level guys. I'm talking about like people that are featured, that are over, that have, some stock in the company and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
this is their time to rise. Like this is
yes.
like their time that they're trying to rise. That's what disappoints me with that. It's just too many ladies who like, and you have the Bellas who have been around.
Yeah, I think the Bellas, the only reason they're in this match is because I guess technically they were the OG women's tag team when there wasn't a tag team division, and they didn't have a tag team titles during their prime, during their heyday. So I guess they want to just do it just to do it.
I
They don't.
think
I don't think they care about winning the titles. I think they just want to be in there just to say they competed for the
I
women's
think
tag
it's that
titles.
classic thing of which I don't think they need, but it's like the Bellas are a name,
That's all it
so
is. It's
we
star
need
power.
them. Yeah, we put them in there, but I don't think you need that though. Not, I get it for certain matches. I get the star power thing. This isn't one of those matches, in my opinion. I think you have enough star power with the other ladies, and then you could give them another match if you wanted to highlight them and sell tickets. Not a opportunity like this for the belts. Because if they win, let's say they get booked to win, that ain't lasting long. Because they're not full time people. They're gonna lose that probably on Raw the next night or something. Or like it won't go past the next month or the next PLE. So I just think it's disappointing. But I like your answers about Nia, the Irresistible Forces should and will win. I'm going to say should win for me. Irresistible Forces will win. I think Charlotte and Alexa.
Or you think
Yes, I think they will. That's not who should win,
Mhm.
but I think that's who will win in that match. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Also, I'm just happy that Bailey is actually on the card this year after
Me too.
after she got shafted in favor of Becky last year. Like I know neither one had any. I know even Becky, if you saw Unreal, like she was real like conflicted about that because she didn't want to take Bailey's spot. But neither one of them were in control of that situation. But I'm just glad that Bailey's getting her shine and getting featured on WrestleMania this year. So I think
Absolutely.
so either way, I feel like that's a win for her. You know what I'm saying?
For
That's a win.
Bailey,
Yeah, just being featured on the card.
I think, yeah, I think it's a win for her, but win for the company. That was dumb. And
Yes.
one thing you can say, Bailey, her character over the past 6, 7 years, I enjoy her on the mic. But one thing we've known from NXT days over a decade ago, Bailey puts on a match. She can work.
Yeah.
So it's like you are lacking something when you don't include someone who knows how to carry a match. And even if you put her with an inexperienced person, she can guide them to make them look good. Why do you not put that person on your biggest card of the year? So it was a mistake last year, and we felt it. And I agree, they righted the wrong.
Right. And Bailey, she proved like she still got it. Like if you go
Mm-hmm.
back to Saturday's main event last December, her and Soruka, I think I even said like they had the best match of the night.
We
I
both
feel
said it.
like.
We
Yeah.
both said it. That was
Yeah.
by far the best match of the night.
So
And Soul was very talented, but we know it takes two to tango. And how much Bailey was calling the match and making her look good. Soul did a great athletic feats too. So I'm not saying like Bailey just carried her, but Bailey was a big part of that. That was the
yes.
best match of the night by far.
Yes, absolutely, and she showed she still has it. She's still important and stuff like that. So I definitely want to see Bailey get a lot more. She definitely deserves a lot more too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we will go on from that match and we'll keep it on Saturday night. Let's go Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Any excitement for this match?
I gotta be honest, and I'm not on paper. This match should be box office. It should be a blockbuster.
Right.
On paper, it looks good. Like you got Seth Rollins, Gunther. Seth, he's already like making his claim for being one of the greatest of all time of this era. Gunther, he's on his way up there too. Great resumes from both former world champions in their own right. It's just the timing. It's just like it just feels like it just got pushed together because neither person has anything to do because both their opponents that were originally scheduled got injured right before Mania. Which is crazy because Gunther was originally supposed to face Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, but Rey got hurt. But now all of a sudden at the minute this match gets made official, then Rey Mysterio comes back and he's included in the ladder match for the IC title. But we all know Rey didn't want to retire just yet because we know Gunther's built up that moniker as being the career killer, and Rey he's been very adamant about letting Dom retire him. He wants his last match to be against his son, which I think is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Pass the torch to your son and stuff like that. And Dom has never beaten Ray one-on-one, not yet. So I think they still need to kind of settle that score. I think they will at some point. But on paper it seems good, but it's not enough story because they only had like 2 weeks to build up to it. But it should be good. I think this will be the match that I think we sleep on, but it'll end up being the show stealer of the whole weekend, I think.
I hope so because I think I'm not going to be a dead horse. You said it perfectly. I'm a big fan of both of these two people, both of these people, Seth and Gunther individually. I love watching Seth. I think Gunther's been a great heel these past few years and love where his career is going. So you would think I would be hyped, but I have zero interest in this match going into it. Like it's at a zero. And I'm hoping just because they both can work that it is an exciting match, which will be like, okay, at least we get that. That's what we want from WrestleMania. We want exciting things that keep us hooked. So hopefully they can deliver there. But I have zero intrigue. And honestly, when zero intrigue, it makes it. I'll let you go first because to me, it's hard to eat for like who should win, who will win. It's kind of like because it felt so thrown together. I'm like, I don't know who should win.
Well, the only thing that's kind of saving it is the fact that Gunther is now in bed with Paul Heyman. Like they have an agreement, and if you saw on Raw, Paul Heyman owes Gunther a favor now since Gunther's taking care of his Seth Rollins problem. So I imagine if Gunther, whatever happens here, he's gonna owe Heyman's gonna owe him a favor or something, whether it's a title opportunity or maybe a chance to retire Brock or something, which has been rumored too that Brock is retiring later this year. So I feel like that's the only thing that's kind of like intriguing, like long term going past WrestleMania. But other than that,
Brock's going to retire this year.
That's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? Look where SummerSlam's going from wrestling, from WWE.
You heard? No. I know where. I'm saying, where'd you hear it from?
I have sources.
Right. Just so when you say, I don't know where he gets this from, this is where we get it from. So no, from this moment on, you can't say what. Look at it, because you've been doing this all night tonight, and you do it all the time, where you give these nuggets, and I'm like, where did you? I'm like, I see the bait. Like, where are you getting this info from?
I mean, we all have internet. I can easily just scroll on Twitter.
Right. I'm not seeing some of the stuff that you say in the past and tonight just on my internet. I don't see it pop up. Maybe I have to deep search it. I haven't deep, but where I know you're a busy man, so you're not doing all that deep searching. So you're getting it from somewhere. That's all I gotta say.
It's not like I have Bruce Pritchard on speed dial or anything, you know.
I didn't say it's Bruce, but it's somebody from somewhere. So
Just know I have sources, and
okay,
I do a lot of research, a lot of digging, you know.
cool. Okay. So who should win? Who will win?
Well, since Seth still has to finish his story with the Vision, and you know, Braun Breaker is clear, by the way, so I imagine they'll probably pick this up, maybe going into Backlash. And Gunther, he's owed a favor with Paul Heyman, so that's the only thing. So I think Gunther will win, and I think he should win, just because they got to kind of right that wrong from last year. He put over Jey Uso, and Jey Uso made him tap out for the world title.
I think to continue Gunther, what he
Yeah,
did with Cena, what he did with AJ
Goldberg.
like continue that and continue trying to build him up. It's not retiring Seth, but
No,
still, it's a big moment if
keep
he
that
could.
momentum. Keep that momentum and
Yes,
stuff.
Seth should not tap though.
No.
I think what would be good if Seth just passes out, but I think he will win, and I think he should win. And Braun Breaker, boy, talk about someone I forgot about. Yeah, I did hear that he's coming back. I almost think Braun don't do the Seth stuff right away. I wouldn't mind seeing after this, let Braun and Gunther go at it, and make Braun babyface.
Mm. So you think kick Braun out of the division and replace him with Gunther?
Yes, I think so. I think Braun needs something like that. Braun needs a shakeup here. He went out flat. He went out with building, but he didn't get to this peak. Let's shake it up a bit. Let him come back. Once Mania is done, that Raw after Mania, that starts the new season. Let Braun come back new, and I would love to see a Braun Gunther matchup.
Yes.
And maybe if we want to go back to him and Seth, but right now I don't care about the whole Vision thing. No fault of their own was a failure. A lot of injuries, a lot of bad luck. I get it, but I'm done with it. It is for right now. Let's move on. If we want to go back to it, fine. It's done right now for me. I don't care about it.
Yeah, and it has so much potential too. It has
It
so much
did.
like especially coming out of WrestleMania last year, like Seth aligning with Paul Heyman and everything, and then he brings in both the Bronze and stuff. Like it has so much potential, and then like you said, injuries, you know, at the wrong time. So I think that just killed it. Now it's Austin Theory and Logan Paul that's basically just carrying it. And Heyman, he's not even with them like that. You know, he's dealing with Brock stuff with Obafemi right now. So
Rightfully so. That's the right move, but then definitely the Vision is dead. Like it sucks.
Yeah, and their team with I Show Speed. So, you know.
That which is terrible. So there's 4 matches left for night 1, but we're only going to talk about 2 of them, and we're going to have our reaction show drop in Monday morning. So if these other 2 that we're skipping end up being like highlight kind of matches, we'll definitely talk about them on our reaction show. But for time, and I'm not going to lie, no offense to these performers or their fans, for intrigue, we're going to skip the 6-man tag match of the Vision versus and I Show Speed versus the Usos and LA, all that crap. We're going to skip the unsanctioned match, Fatu versus Drew. And because the ladies got shafted for night 1 coverage, our predictions, we're going to focus on the 2 ladies matches here. So let's start with the Intercontinental Championship match, the rematch from Elimination Chamber. AJ Lee, who's now the champion, versus Becky Lynch.
The man.
I think to right the wrong of that bad Elimination Chamber match, Becky Lynch, it should be a squash match. And she should just dominate AJ. That's not going to happen, but that's what I want to see. I never thought I'd see the day, Tim, where I am rooting for Becky. Of all the ladies, Becky was one. I respect Becky. Becky's a great wrestler, future Hall of Famer, first ballot, all that but I never was a fan of Becky. Becky had like a little time when she became the man where I'm like, okay, but then that was played out for me. I never thought I'd see the day when I'm like, I'm rooting for Becky Lynch, but I kind of like Becky's heel turn. I like Becky getting in CM Punk's face, and her and Seth, and I liked some of her promo with my hot husband. Like, they were funny, and she was carrying that match completely in Elimination Chamber. And AJ Lee, not knocking her, she's rusty, didn't look that great. Let the title go back to Becky. I think Becky will win. I think Becky should win. I think they'll try to make it competitive. Becky should dominate her. And I do believe, it may sound crazy, but a la SummerSlam 20, was that 13 or 14? When Brock suplex City Cena like all those times. I can't remember the exact year.
2014.
24. Okay, so I knew it was. I think it would work, though, and bring so much heat if Becky wrecks AJ Lee at WrestleMania, and all the AJ Lee fit, and then AJ snaps. Hear me out here. AJ snaps, and you get that whole flashback to AJ being crazy like in the past, and then she starts really like, I'm going after Becky. Like, that was the snap. I'm not saying they're going to do that. Am I crazy? Would that not be interesting?
I don't know about a squash match, but I do agree with you, and this might sound crazy. I do agree that Becky will and should win, though, because just for the simple fact that AJ, since she's came back, has had Becky's number in the last couple matches. She beat Becky in the mixed tag match with their husbands at WrestlePalooza, made Becky tap out at War Games at Survivor Series, and then eventually beat Becky for the Intercontinental title at Elimination Chamber. So that's three times that AJ has went over. Like, Becky, they got to give her something to kind of make this, because it's been one sided up until this point. So they need to give Becky something. I feel like,
Or are they going to have Becky lose, and this ends the AJ Becky saga?
If Becky loses, I don't see it like ending right here. I think they keep it going to at least like Backlash. I think. And then Becky gets it back there. But I think for this moment, because AJ's technically beaten Becky 3 times in a row, their last 3 matches against each other, I think they got to get Becky something.
And that's why, maybe not a squash match, but a domination match.
Yes.
Because if it's a close match and Becky wins, it's still everything you said as far as the storyline. It's still 3-1. But if you dominate and it's like, ooh, this was ugly, that can wash out those other losses. And it's like Becky embarrassed AJ Lee. Maybe not a squash match, but a domination match. Becky's bigger than AJ. I didn't realize the size difference between the two until Elimination Chamber, because Becky to me is not like one of the bigger like ladies in the division. But
Yeah,
I forgot how small AJ Lee was, because back then she was to be next to Ziggler or Big E. So it's like, oh, that's why you're. But she's small, and like in that match, and maybe I'm wrong, Becky looked way bigger than AJ.
which is funny to say because Becky actually got slimmer after she had the baby and stuff. So she's actually smaller now than what she was like before she got pregnant and stuff. So you would think they would be like the same size, but she is like, I guess, a little bit more like bulky and stuff like that.
And just taller, and
yeah, a little bit taller,
right?
little
Because she
bit.
looked much bigger than AJ at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, not saying AJ isn't fit or anything like that, but I'm just saying it's just that she's just so small and so tiny and stuff.
Yeah, you can be fit. Everyone has different. All bodies are beautiful. Number one. Number two, different frames, because like Alexa Bliss is shorter, but a different frame. At least back in the day, maybe not so much now, but back in the day, she had a different frame than what AJ Lee had. But both, like you said, were fit. Great workers in the ring and all that stuff. But it's different. And I think that's what came into my mind. I don't know why I didn't see it in the mixed. I didn't notice it in those other War Games. I didn't. It didn't. I would have said Becky, because I care about heights. I would have said Becky's taller than. I knew that, but she just looked way bigger at Elimination Chamber and was like throwing AJ around and stuff. And I'm like, that pops into my mind. They won't do it, but I wish they would. I wish I could talk to you Sunday night and be like, they did it. Not just Becky winning, but there needs to be something. I don't think a cheat would do it. They robbed AJ. Maybe it would, but I think if she just dominated AJ, that could set something up really good.
Well, this is why when we did our Elimination Chamber prediction, this is why I said they should have did the reverse and had Becky go over and have AJ chase
I
Becky
agreed. Yeah.
for WrestleMania. I don't know if you had a different result or than I
No,
did
I,
or the
I,
same.
I knew that they weren't. I predicted AJ to. They want. I said they want the hometown moments in Chicago. CM Punk winning, AJ winning, and then what I said happened. AJ comes out and they hug and they're both wearing belts, which is a nice moment. And the post show was nice with them both having their belts, husband and wife. So like I get it, but I think it would have been much better. I agreed with you. If Becky wins and AJ gets her Mania moment, I would
Yeah,
okay with that.
yeah,
But I think I'm okay if there's something that makes this win, if Becky wins and it's memorable, then that erases
yeah,
Elimination Chamber's decision. If Becky
yes,
just wins and it's not memorable, I still don't think it's the right move.
yeah. Like it has to be something epic, like you said, like go back to WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart, Stone Cold, right? Even though I think that was only like the second time they went 1-on-1 and Bret had won both matches, but you kind of forget about who won or who lost because the matches were so great, the storytelling was great, and then of course that dramatic finish with Austin covered in blood. He passes out from the sharpshooter because he lost so much blood and stuff. Like you remember that, so it's like, and it made Bret look strong, but it also made Austin look strong too. So I'm not saying like AJ or Becky need to be bleeding, but I'm saying you need to have something dramatic, to where there's a conclusion, there's a definitive winner, and there's a defining moment for this
I
match.
think, and I don't know, we haven't gotten the AJ Lee that everyone knows from the past yet. Am I wrong? Do you agree or disagree?
No, I don't think you're wrong with that. I think she needs more matches. She only had like one other singles
Right.
match, and that was against Bailey. You know what I'm saying?
And I think you're right. She needs more matches for the
Yes.
ring rust, but for her character, I think people are excited to see her back because people were wondering if it ever would happen. I think people would love to see 10 years now, 11, whatever years later, AJ snapped, and then AJ hasn't been crazy AJ yet, and I think it'd be interesting to see something would need to happen.
Yes.
I think Saturday night needs to be that spark to really. I think that would help so much if AJ, even while she's getting the ring rust off, she gives me that. Right now, she's more like she's Phil's wife. Not gonna lie. Since she's been back, she's CM Punk's
She's
wife.
Phil's wife.
She's Phil's wife. She needs to stand on her own. Give her something. Stand on her own. Even her moment. Phil's wife.
It's
Let's
crazy because
change that.
just a few months ago we were saying Phil was AJ's husband. Now we got the reverse now.
With that pop, it felt like that. When AJ returned, it was like, oh man, yeah, this is
That was the
the
honeymoon
man.
phase back. That was the honeymoon.
Right. When that happened, it was like, oh yeah, for once, CM Punk got outdone, and it was like, this is the man married to AJ Lee. But I'm not saying it's her. I blame the company. She's just been associated to her husband. Her whole return has been her husband. Becky did a little bit of that, but Becky went on her own thing, and Becky's staying on her own. AJ needs to stand on her own. We all know that they're married. They probably ride to arenas together and to and from. Cool, cool, cool. We don't need to see them together in the storylines. We know that they're married, just like we know Becky and Seth are married in real life. That's great. I wish them all the happiness in the world. I don't need to see them together. Their storylines can be separate. Get AJ away from being Phil's wife and let her snap Saturday night with a
Yeah,
loss, a bad
yeah,
loss.
yeah. And I think that's probably what also helped with Becky this last year and not including her in the vision and stuff like that because it let her do her own thing, let Seth do his own thing. So I think that's what helped.
So we both think Becky will win and she should win. So
Yes.
now, the women's title.
The women's world title.
Yes.
Yes.
Stephanie Vaquer, the champ, versus Liv Morgan. I'm excited for this one.
I am too, especially after these last few weeks. Like they really been ramping it up. So I'm definitely
I
excited for it.
agree.
This has like I know overall, like the overall build for WrestleMania hasn't really been all that great, but this match in particular, like this match, and there's a few other matches too that had this type of energy, but this match in particular has the energy that I was looking for, and it has the right type of tempo for WrestleMania. Like
You
I,
think it
I
always had this kind of energy?
not from the jump because we had to wait and see what happened, at the Royal Rumble and stuff, and we had to wait for Liv to decide who she's going to face. But you know, it did. I think the way it started off, like with Liv doing the fake out and then attacking Stephanie, beating her with the mic, I think that's what kicked it off. But then after that, it was just like balls to the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like they jumping each other from behind, they attacking each other backstage. I'm just like, man. But these last few
It,
weeks, they really been heating up though.
regardless of gender, men or women, you can maybe say top five, but definitely you can't. I know have a top 10 most interesting, exciting, must watch wrestlers list, and men and women combined, and not have Liv Morgan. I think you can make a case she's top five, where she's just interesting personality wise. She's interesting with the looks. She's interesting what she does in the ring with the matches and how she works. She's the total package. And I'm like, Liv is exciting to watch. And I'm hyped to see her in this big moment here. Set up to have a WrestleMania moment. Now, will she? I don't know. What do you think, Tim Loomis? Stephanie versus Liv. Who should win? Who will win?
Oh, man. This is like one of those cases where you have 50-50 booking. I know typically like on the go home show before the pay-per-view, whoever gets the last touch or who stands tall or whatever like that in the promo battle, they usually end up losing. But this past Monday on Raw, it seemed like it was kind of even because they had a brawl, but it was broken up. So neither one really got the advantage over the other. So it could go either way. Now, on one hand, you might say Liv just because she was injured for most of last year and she kind of needs us to kind of get back on track because 2024, we said that was like maybe one of her best years ever. She was women's
That was
world
like the
champ.
year of Liv Morgan.
Yeah, it's like that was one of her best years ever. She was women's world champion. She took over the Judgment Day. She stole Dom from Rhea. Her and Rhea had, you could say, one of the top two best rivalries of that year behind Punk and Drew. In 2025, not her fault, but she kind of dipped a little bit, and then she got injured, and she was gone for like 6 months or so. So this year, I said back at the Royal Rumble, like she needs to win the Rumble to get back on track, and she did that. You know, so this is like, hey, this is her to prove herself. Like, can she get back to the top spot? Can she get back to the promised land? But on the other side, you got Stephanie Vaquer, who's still relatively new to the main roster. I don't even think she's been on the main roster a whole year yet, and she's already the women's world champion. It's her first WrestleMania, first Chilean wrestler to headline a WrestleMania 2.
And very, very exciting in the ring.
Yes,
I need
yes.
more from her personality and character, but in the ring, very exciting. Stephanie is fun to watch.
And I think she's working on that. I know, she's trying to speak more English, so she's working on that for sure. I do feel like she is getting better at it. I do feel like.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't think you're wrong at all. I agree with you. I just think that's if she had more of that, I could talk about Stephanie. Even though they wrestle different styles, I could talk about Stephanie in the same way I talk about Liv, because I love watching Stephanie in when she has a match. Like, to me, this is just my little theory. When I'm watching a wrestler, male or female, the total package is wherever I see you on WWE programming, you're exciting. So if I see you wrestling anybody, it's like, I got to watch this. This is so and so wrestling. If you're doing a promo, I got to watch. If you're backstage in a little set, I'm going to watch. Like, that's the total package. So right now, to me, Liv has that where if she's wrestling a squash match, I'm going to watch it. If she's doing anything, I'm watching. Stephanie, if she's wrestling, I'm watching. Everything else right now, I don't necessarily have to watch.
Well, this is why it's kind of interesting. I think they kind of balance each other out. Now, one might say, well, Stephanie is the better wrestler than Liv. Liv can hold her own in the ring, but I think we can all agree that Stephanie is a better wrestler.
I
It's
agree.
just as far as the personality and mic skills, she might need some work on, and that's cool. She's working on it. I'm glad. She's not shy about admitting that. But Liv, she's clearly carrying this promo wise, like as far as like on the mouthpiece and stuff like that on the mic. So I think they both complement each other. They balance each other out. in those regards and stuff like that. So, and I think this match will be badass too. I feel like. I think this will be a badass match. Just like similar to the Rollins Gunther match, where that has no build up to it, but it could potentially steal the show. I think this match has a lot going for it because it has the build up, and you have two great competitors in there the whole to put on a good match and stuff. So I feel like this could deliver in the ring as well as the build up and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what would be great? Here's me doing my pretend booking stuff. I'm going to be real with you. If this match could, I know they care about the violence and the blood. I'm not saying you have to have a lot of blood. I don't know when this is going to appear Saturday night. I hope later in the night.
Yes.
Oh, if it's later, then they might do this more. If it was early, on ESPN2, they're not going to show that. But I think this should be a violent match, man.
I think
I
it
think
will.
with these
I
two
believe. I believe it will
performers,
be. I believe it will be.
more than like the Intercontinental title,
Yes.
I think even in a way, more than a match we're going to talk about later on night 2 with Rhea and Jade. That's
Yeah.
two powerhouses where these ladies, to me, with the flips and I think put people through tables, bring out weapons, they should do something like that. And I think this to me, I think you are correct. For months, I was like, well, we'll see, but I'm more hyped for Rhea and Jade. I have a swerve, bro.
Swerve, bro.
In the past week, maybe 2 weeks, but definitely past week, I flipped. I'm more hyped for the championship matches for the ladies. I'm more hyped for this one Saturday night than Rhea and your homegirl Jade on Sunday. Swerve.
Yeah.
Swerve. I'm hyped for this match, man.
Yeah, this has all the ingredients for what you want, especially for WrestleMania season, like the build up and the ambushes and stuff. Like when Stephanie came up behind Liv and her and Roxy, they cracked heads and stuff. It was like I still cringe watching that replay because it's just like they legit just cracked heads. Like you see Liv's, if you play in slow motion, you see Liv's head going to Roxanne's nose and jaw and stuff. It just looks brutal, you know what I'm saying? And then for Liv to even finish the spot, like that's impressive too. Because after that, Stephanie launched Liv into the TV, broke the TV screen. Like it just looked brutal, you know what I'm saying? And then and the next week, they're both like going at each other. Liv, she just looks all crazy, like deranged, you know what I'm saying? Like she can play psycho really well. That's something we don't talk about enough of. Like we talk about Alexa Bliss and AJ Lee playing psycho. Like Liv, she plays
Liv is
psycho.
great. Liv
Yeah.
is phenomenal at it. You're right. We don't give because she's put different variations on it. I think Liv's probably the best of them all. Of those three, Liv is great at playing psycho. And Liv, when she loses it, it's and she's not like a powerhouse. Alexa, it wasn't believable, but it was cool with the character, the Fiend, and like okay. With Liv, it's almost like, is this a work? Is this a shoot? Is she like she's not a big lady, but the way Liv goes, I'm like I wouldn't trust her, and I would be scared of her. Like, don't make her. I'd be like, Tim, don't make her mad. Please don't make her mad. You know why? Because she does the great psychology work of wrestling. She knows she's not physically the biggest. She's probably like 5'3", whatever. She's strong and fit. I respect that, but she's not big. So what does she play on? Manipulation, faking you out, and then when she kicked Cena in the balls and stuff, having that like I'm happy to see you, but then having that look in her eyes like, oh yeah, and then she takes advantage. She tricks you, then whoops on you. And Alexa used to do that, but Liv does it better. Where I'm like, Liv will put you down and she'll try to keep you down, like you ain't getting back up. So I need to see that Liv Saturday night. But who do you have winning, and who do you think should win?
This is tough, man. This might be one of the toughest out of all the
I
matches I think we talked about so far.
I agree.
Because both ladies, I do feel like they deserve a win. They definitely deserve their moment, and they both kind of do have similar stories, like an underdog story. Stephanie more so coming from the indie side. I know Liv is more homegrown, but she also has an incredible story too. So we can't knock
Absolutely.
that. We can't. It's like on one hand, it's like I want to say Liv just to kind of get back on track. And I feel like this year will be a big year for Liv because I think she just dropped a music video. And I don't know if she's like teasing a potential path into music or something. And I know she has a movie coming out later this year too. So I feel like 2026, regardless, will be a big year for her. And I feel like this will be a nice little cap, a nice little, bow on top and stuff like that. So, but I think Stephanie I think Stephanie probably will win
Mm.
just because, it's her first Mania. We want to talk about preserving the future. And I feel like this WrestleMania, like, keep in mind, it's Stephanie and it's a few other people that we'll also get to later on. Like we talked about Last Legend, it's their first WrestleMania, and it's a few other people that we'll get to later on that it's their first WrestleMania too. It's a lot of first time WrestleMania performers here on this card, and I feel like it's important that we preserve the future. And if you want to set that example, you want to set that standard, you got to start with Stephanie going over. I feel like so. I think she will win,
What about? What
but
about? Sorry to interrupt you, but what
yeah,
about Nia and Lash? If Lash, we both
that's
think that they should win.
yeah.
That's a win for a newbie.
Yeah.
You
That,
can't give the newbies all of it now.
I mentioned last two. I mentioned
Right.
last two. Now I'm not saying everybody, all the newbies are going to win. I'm not saying all of them, but you got to preserve the future at some point, especially. And this is a big match. I think this is a bigger match than a tag team match for sure. I just feel like Stephanie, just because you want to build up, especially for the women's division, like you need new top stars because it can't just be Rhea forever. Bianca's not going to be there forever. Charlotte, she's not going to be there forever. You know what I'm saying? Like and Becky's not going to be there. So you need to preserve the future. I feel like so. I feel like Stephanie will probably win this. I think just because of the story they got set up and everything, and also they could also run it back in the rematch at Backlash or something, or at SummerSlam later on if they want to keep it going that far. I think Liv should win just for the simple fact that she kind of had it rough last year with the injury and everything like that, and she needs to kind of get back on track and everything. So I think Liv should win. I think Stephanie will win and triumph over Liv, and I think Liv, she'll also have shenanigans with the Judgment Day coming in. Like, she'll probably have Raquel watching her back. She'll probably have Roxy if Roxy's cleared. She may have Roxy running interference too. So I think for Stephanie to kind of overcome the odds, I think she'll probably will win.
That's a good angle.
Yeah. So
I will. I'm gonna say Liv should win, and Liv will win.
mm,
And the reason why is Stephanie is hot. People like Stephanie. The crowd pops for her. I don't think a loss will hurt her. And I think of all the first timers, if there's one I would have to pick to lose, it's Stephanie
mm,
because she has the greatest push of them, the first timers. She has already been a champion for a while. She has a good following, and I don't think she's at a spot where she can get it back. And I don't think a loss would necessarily even hurt her. Like I think she, especially depending on how she loses, if she loses, she'd be fine. And then, like you said, the chase, she is right now perfect for the chase. So I think of all the newbies this year, first timers, she's the one I would pick to lose. And I think also, like we saw 2 years ago, WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, Bailey, everyone knew like this is Bailey's moment. Liv hasn't been in it as long as Bailey had been, but I think this is a Liv Morgan moment. It's been just building to her having a WrestleMania moment, and I think she's going to get it Saturday night.
yeah. And also, like, I know we're talking about like who we think should win and who will win. Me personally, on a personal note, who I want to win is Liv, just for the simple fact that also this is her first one-on-one match at the WrestleMania. She's never had a singles match at Mania, so I think this means more for her than I think for Stephanie for the reasons that you just said. So, yeah. So I think
And
it's different for Liv. Yeah.
she has proven in a way different than Stephanie. She brings a lot of value to the championship belt. We saw that battle with Rhea. You could say that was the top rivalry. You can argue it of 2024. So much so that for Raw's first episode on Netflix, that big event, and you and I talked about that, they had one women's match. Liv Morgan was on it. It's Liv Morgan's time. Liv is exciting. People like Liv. People want to see Liv, and Liv will do great work for that belt and make it pop. Judgment Day or not, or New Judgment Day, however you want to look at it, she does work. She's exciting. It's her time. Stephanie can get it back. And if Stephanie won on a personal note, would I be upset? No, I am rooting for Liv. I love both of these ladies, but I think it's Liv's time. So
Yeah.
is that I think you're right. I think honestly of the first night, that is the toughest match to call.
Yeah.
So that
I think I think regardless, it's gonna be a slugfest for sure. Though it's gonna
be exciting.
be brutal.
Let me ask you, in your opinion, is that the match? Do you think that will be the match of the night? Like, are you looking at that for night one? What's your prediction for match of the night?
It's between that and I'm sorry, Rollins and Gunther. Those two, like Rollins and Gunther has
Which one do
potential
you
to steal the
pick?
show. Just based on the build up and what I've seen so far, I'm gonna go with the ladies on this one.
Me too.
Yeah, Vakir and Morgan. I'm gonna go with them.
Okay.
But I feel like both those matches have potential to steal the show for night one, and maybe for the whole
Okay.
weekend too.
True. Okay. So now we're gonna go to night two here, and there's some matches that we can. I don't know. Like I said, if they're good, I am down to talk about them on our reaction show if they surprise me. That 6-pack ladder match, I can skip over for the preview show. I'm sorry. I don't know how you feel. If it really is eating at you to talk about it, we can. But I
I
think
mean,
that's
it's cool, and it kind
it's
of
the
brings back that old tradition of like having a ladder match for the IC title at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's cool. We can get to it on the reaction show. You know what I'm saying?
it is one of those things that probably it can be exciting, and it might be able to surprise like the SummerSlam, like what happened last year at SummerSlam. So that's why I'm like, definitely I'll be the first to say, whoa, that blew me away night two when we do our reaction show. But due to time, I think going into it, for a lot of people, I could be off, I think that's the least amount of intrigue for the night two matches is that one.
Yeah.
And I'd rather get to, 'cause I think the other five,
Yes.
definitely
Yes.
at least four of the five, I think all five is interesting. So I'd
Yeah.
rather get to those.
Yeah. Very. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel you.
So let's go right into it. Obafemi, Brock Lesnar.
You mean the real main event at
About to
WrestleMania?
say, yes. About you took the words. I'm like, this has turned into the actual main event. This is outshining big time CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and I'm like, I don't know if I think they did. They knew that they needed juice. This match to me is confirmation that they know they were struggling with the build up. This match, because not only booking this match, but how much they've put into this match in such a short amount of time, it was, we need juice fast. I don't think a match like this they were ready for him to do just yet. I think they accelerated his push, in my opinion, because they needed it.
Yeah. I do think it was speculated they were going to run this match, but I don't think it was concrete. At least, not around the time of like the Rumble, because they did have like a little face off in the Rumble match, but I don't think it was like settled on Brock and Oba. I think they were either going to go with Gunther and Brock or somebody else for Brock or something like that. It wasn't really settled just yet, but up until like maybe after Elimination Chamber, like February or early March, that's when
It
they
was like
decided.
March, yeah.
It was like March or something like that, early March. They decided like, okay, this is what we're going to go with because ticket sales are low, intrigue is down. We need something. We need, like you said, we need that shot in the arm.
I'm not saying, let's say the intrigue was up and everyone was hyped for this WrestleMania and the buzz was there pre-Mania week. I'm not saying that this match still doesn't happen, but I'm less positive it does if they didn't need it. I think, because I think also, man, I'm not saying they wouldn't have Oba and Brock working at Mania. They'd be crazy not to.
Yeah.
But against each other, I could see, let's build that for next year, or let's build that for SummerSlam or something else. I think for them to jumpstart, and because the Royal Rumble has those moments, that's what makes the Rumble special, where you have two people you don't, oh, wow, they're mano a mano in the. So like that's not a guarantee to me that like, oh, they were setting this up for Mania, because you have that at all Royal Rumbles, men and women, those stare downs and crap like that. They needed this so bad, and this to me has been the reason why, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for Tim. I don't know how he feels. We were, as far as intrigue, this was the lowest up until like about a month ago. This was the lowest where I'm like, man, I'm not really feeling it going into Mania. Like, what are we going to do here? It went from like a 0 to about a 5 or 6, all due to this match. and what they've done with it, and it's all been on this.
Yeah, this match is clearly carrying the whole Mania for both nights.
Yes.
Yeah, like I'm excited for Vakir and Morgan, and I'm looking forward to Cody and Randy, and even Rollins and Gunther. But this match overall is carrying the whole weekend right here. The whole weekend, and the fact that this is opening night 2 on ESPN, and ESPN, they wanted this match specifically. They requested that this match be shown on their channel.
That's out there on the internet, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what my sources told me.
I'm wondering because you're giving this information here, ESPN personally, like for a fact, they asked for this.
There are other pages that reported it too, so it's not like I'm the only person.
No. Come on, man. But that's good. I'm glad you're giving us the scoop. That's good scoop. Like, you're doing a great job. But like, I'm just pointing out the facts here. But okay, yeah, I agree though. That's smart on ESPN's part.
Yes.
To get that, for the main ESPN, you want the most intriguing match to open it, And what's your philosophy? Brock has opened Mania before.
Yeah, he has.
I don't know if he did it more than once. I know he definitely did it a few years ago. Was that Omos when he wrestled? That was like the first match of the night.
That was 39, right?
Right. I think that was like the first. I think they opened one of the nights.
That wasn't the first time, but that was one of the times he did it.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's done it before. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
he's done it before,
but I know. At 35, him and Seth opened. That was for the Universal title.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think the last time was, like you said, him and Omos at 30. I think it was night 2 they opened because Cena and Austin Theory opened for night 1.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I guess I want to ask you, what's your theory, no pun intended, on your most exciting match or exciting performer opening WrestleMania? Do you think that's bad? So I've heard different opinions on it. How do you feel about like this match opening Mania?
I mean, I'm surprised that it's opening one of the nights. I feel like it should be for a match this high caliber. It should come later in the card. And I was just recently doing an interview for a Chicago radio station, and I plugged in our show too. So just so you
you need to.
Yeah, just getting our stuff out there, and I told them about it. And, we talked a little bit about wrestling, and the host, he said this match should actually replace Roman and Punk in the main event for night 2 and stuff. And I agree.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, it should come second to last before the main event, or somewhere in the middle of the card, or something like that. But I'm surprised it's opening the show. But I also get why it's doing it. And like Brock Lesnar, we know he has that appeal outside WWE. He made it big in UFC. He was UFC heavyweight champion, so he has the MMA background, and people know who he is. Obafemi, this could be big for him because you're on ESPN. While there's still a lot of people that don't have ESPN Plus because of how expensive it is, paying that $30 a month and stuff. But let's say somebody who's not a wrestling fan or they're a casual fan, they flip on ESPN, they see Obafemi doing his thing. He's throwing Brock around. They're like, who is that? Tossing Brock Lesnar around like a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, that gets them instantly hooked, and that makes them become an Obafemi fan and stuff like that. So I get that in that regard. And your opening match, that sets the tone, regardless of which night. Your opening match sets the tone for the whole show. You know what I'm saying? And in the past, we've had some great opening matches for WrestleMania, and we had not so great. But it sets the tone for the event. It gets the crowd hype. It lets you know, like, okay, it's going to be a good show right here. Like, and regardless if the show isn't good after that, still, that opening match, it says a lot. Like, it sets the tone for the whole show. You know what I'm saying?
So I think the opening, it's not a crazy idea to do that. And I give it a pass even more so because of the ESPN first year hosting it. I think it is smart if you're going to make Sunday night ESPN night. You want to get a match that can hook people.
Yes.
If there is a match due to hype, and if they execute it right, if you want to see a match where you bring the house down, and then people who don't have ESPN Plus want to keep watching WrestleMania, and they will buy the app, even if it's one night, just to see the rest of WrestleMania, this is the match to pick. So I get it. I think it should be WrestleMania 19, though, even though we know Angle and Lesnar was the final match, and that had championship implications. But the big name, The Rock and Stone Cold, were there, but they did not close out that Mania. That was Angle and Lesnar, and I think Lesnar and Oba should close it out, and you put Punk and Roman on as the match before the last match. That's what I think. I don't think Punk and Roman need to be the opener. I don't think they have opener. I mean, I can get it, I guess, for ESPN if like that's a name if you want Punk and Roman to open the match night 2, but I think it should be like WrestleMania 19 in my opinion. This has become the headliner by far. And also credit to the great Paul Heyman. That's why I said he's smart to be in this is the moneymaker as far as his disciples. It's this match. So yes, be with this one. And he has done great filling in for Brock when he's not there. And Oba gave a great promo.
Oh man,
and gave some good threats to Paul.
Yes,
I loved it.
Yeah, can we talk about that promo for a second, man?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. And the fact that I think Oba Femi's only 28, still young. If he's not in his prime already, he's definitely about to get there. But man, I feel like his best years are definitely ahead of him. And man, for him to be on the main roster for 3 months and dominate the way he has, and to get up in Brock Lesnar's face and dominate him for a month straight, 4 straight weeks. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's had this type of dominance over Brock Lesnar, I don't think, ever. Not The Undertaker, not The Rock, nobody. You know what I'm saying? Not Roman Reigns. Nobody's had this type of dominance over Brock Lesnar. Especially
not since he's come back.
Yeah, not since he's come back. I don't think ever.
I don't think, I mean,
in both his
runs. Because I don't know about dominance, but definitely like Angle has success. He who shall not be named, Chris Benoit, made him tap out,
Well, those are like matches, like specific matches, but I'm just talking like overall, like in a few, like for weeks on end. Like Kurt Angle, he beat Brock a few times, but he's never like had the upper hand on Brock from week to week to week. You know what I'm saying?
What about Goldberg?
I give you Goldberg.
He did squash him.
Yeah, I give you Goldberg because Goldberg had his number. Survivor Series beat him, in 2 minutes, and then took him out in the Royal Rumble and stuff like that. So yeah, I give you Goldberg.
And Drew has some success.
Yeah, Drew.
So, but I do see what you're saying. It hasn't been in a match form yet.
No, not yet.
So that's where we really get it. But
that
I do know what you mean though, as far as matching Brock physically,
yes,
which Oba can do. Yeah. I don't have their stats of how much they bench and whatever, who's stronger physically. But even if let's say Brock is stronger, he's not much stronger. But you can also look at the two of them and say, I think Oba, especially due to youth, Brock is older. Brock's probably, what, 40? 40-something?
He's 48.
Brock's 48. So when you look at all that, yeah, I can see Oba as the more powerful person at this point in Brock's career.
Yeah.
So that puts up a great threat. And honestly, Tim, before we get into our predictions, it just hit me now. Maybe I'm crazy. I want you to tell me if I am. Do you think they're making up for the fact that they screwed up Brock versus Bobby Lashley for so long?
Yes, I do feel like a little bit. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but I do feel like you definitely see some glimpses of that in there. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a match that we were looking forward to for years, for a long time. And both of them had similar, I guess you could say Oba has a similar like upstart that Brock had in his younger years too, a little bit. But Bobby Lashley and Brock, that was a match we were looking forward to for years. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Lashley was calling out Brock for years and stuff, chasing him in the MMA world, back to WWE, and they fumbled, you know what I'm saying? So I know the records will say Bobby's up 2-1, but we didn't get the matches we deserved or we thought.
And we got them too late, in my opinion.
Right. And they fumbled by not paying it off with the last match, not having it at WrestleMania. Like instead they had it at Elimination Chamber the month before, and they pivoted to Brock versus Omos. And Bobby Lashley was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which made no sense. Like that match, that feud deserved to culminate at WrestleMania in a no holds barred match or an MMA style type of match. You could have went back to the MMA, because they both had MMA roots and stuff. So they fumbled hard on that. So I definitely feel like you could say this is making up for that. The only question is Brock going to do the favor? Is he going to do the honors and put the young guy over? That's the thing. That's what I'm worried about because that from that promo he cut last Monday, which I want to get into that for a little bit. Like it was excellent, man. Like imagine this, right? You're cutting your first big promo on the main roster. Triple H is standing right behind you. He's watching you, and you're cutting your first big promo to Paul Heyman, one of the greatest talkers in the business. You know what
Of
I'm
all
saying?
time,
Of all time. You know what I'm
right?
saying? Like, think of all the great talkers: The Rock, Ric Flair, Bobby Heenan, and you got Paul Heyman, who might be number one probably, or top five at the very least. And you're cutting the promo. He doesn't stutter not one time. He doesn't flubber and none of that. Like, no type of hesitation. Like, he's clear. You hear the conviction, the passion. Like, he's like, the one liner he's dropping, he's like, I'm the mountain you can't climb, the mountain you can't conquer. I'm the one, the only one. I was like, yeah, I'm watching this. Like, yeah, like I'm invested. That got me excited. That made me feel like a little kid again. Like, yeah, this is the energy we need for the future. I'm like, this guy is the future. This is the guy we need. This is the perfect successor for Brock Lesnar, being the new beast, the new conqueror, the ruler. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we need. Like, it made me feel like a little kid. I'm like, yeah, Oba, say it with your whole chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, like for real. Like, because he really meant that, and I feel like that's what's missing with a lot of modern wrestlers. It's like they don't believe what they're saying. It's like a lot of them, they just kind of just try to
Yes,
memorize the script,
yes.
and they don't really put that passion and that believability. You know what I'm saying?
Cody
Like,
needs more of that.
okay, let's
I'm
pump the
dead
brakes.
serious. I'm dead serious. When Cody has done that a couple, like when he gave his Raheem, I know you can't do that all the time, but just to connect it, Oba, it was timed just right the Monday night before. And number one, you got to deliver, and he delivers. So
Yeah,
that all
in a
props
big,
to him
in the big way.
in
Yeah.
a huge way. But
Yes.
you've got to give me, when you're giving me not like the sharpest lines or the funniest lines, what do I want? Passion. And I believe Cody has passion, but sometimes it takes a while to get there, and he's trying to give the soliloquy and blah, blah, blah. Oba was just fired up passion, and that's what I need more of Cody. I would like Cody a lot more as a babyface if he gave me just, I'm pissed off. Like, he's trying to be too polite and professional in his character sometimes. That's what holds him back for me. Oba wasn't trying to be nice, and he was like, Paul, I will get you. I will beat you, Paul, if you do this. Like, I am the mountain. Brock is like, that's what I need. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need like that passion from him.
Yes.
Let's go. Cody, if Cody had that, I'm being all sincere. I'm not coming at Cody. I need more of that from him, and I'd be just like you, as much of a fan.
Okay.
Promise.
So this is my honest take to go to answer about Cody for a second. So, not to be a Cody stan or anything, this is my honest take on that. I do agree that I feel like it does take him a while to kind of get to, those big moments, those big talking points where he gets passionate and stuff, where he's kind of building up to it. He's trying to be too smooth or too nice. So I do feel like he needs to kind of like just ditch that and just get straight to the point. From his mindset, I can see he's trying to tell a story. I get it is important too to kind of
At
build up to
times,
that
yes.
at times, but these last couple weeks, like when Pat and Randy they jumped him, he did get straight to the point though. That Raheem line, he got straight to the point.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
I feel like at certain points, yeah, he needs to do that more often,
It takes
especially
way too long.
yeah. So I think he needs to kind of just get straight to it and just like, hey, like I'm mad, like no, I'm pissed off, like come out here, come see me. You know what I'm saying? Come see me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he needs to do more of that. And he is showing more of an aggressive side, but we need to see a little bit more of it. So we'll see what happens with that.
And if you can't be aggressive all the time and mad all the time. You can't do that. I hate to compare them, but what made John Cena when he was sincere and he felt like he disappointed people, you felt that. That's what was needed, and he delivered that and got right to it.
It made you feel sorry for him too.
Right, made you feel
Yeah.
sorry for him when he was pissed off. He was still proper, respectful, All American Cena, but you weren't like, is John mad? You knew he was mad. Cody has way too many. Is he mad? I don't know. and I need that to stop. Raheem was his best promo I've seen him do since he's been back, in my opinion. That was quick. It wasn't that long
but
compared to other promos,
it
and it
was
was
straight to
right
the
to the
point.
point.
Straight to the point, like you said, and sometimes that's all you need. You know what I'm saying?
And he needs to. I wish I could talk to him and say, "Give me more of that." I get if you're going to go long, then you need to be in another extreme emotion of sad, of frustrated, of I feel disappointed. Then you need to dive into that, but still get to the point. It's too much, and it was like I'm like, come on, man! Like
Yeah,
time is precious here.
yeah, and that's the thing because not everybody can be like Jake Roberts or Bray Wyatt, where they don't have to raise their voice, and they're great storytellers and stuff. But even Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul, when he was alive, sometimes he would get riled up, he would get passionate, and he would have those promos where he gets straight to the point, be aggressive and stuff. But then he knows how to tone it down, and kind of draw you in with a softer voice and tell a story and act
Right.
menacing at the same time too.
Cody can't do that. Oba, I was wondering where he could find his voice. He has the look. He has the moves in the ring. He has even the fun entrance dance that you love to see him do. He has the chant. He has all those things. It was the mic skills. And it's not, doesn't mean it's over. Like you always are building and improving. But my God, he showed me something Monday night. And I was like, I need WrestleMania Night 2 to be here right now.
Today.
Yes. Today. No. I will hurt you, Paul. Well, he did. I was like, yeah.
I'm like, and also this is like when you feel it's like seems like every single week the crowd chants to get louder and
They get
louder.
so loud.
Like especially last Monday night, like it was so much aura oozing from him, and like the crowd chants was being into it. Like they would chant "oh," and then they ad lib in between like "oh, but ooh." You know what I'm saying? It's like in
Almost
unison.
to the point where I was almost like, don't take away from. He's doing so well. Like it's distracting a little bit. Like it didn't get there, but to me it was close.
No, he didn't get distracted at all.
No, no, not him.
Uh-huh.
I mean, as a viewer, it was
Right.
almost like I wish they would stop doing that.
Right.
Because he's doing so well.
Sometimes fans they do be hijacking the show a little bit, trying to get themselves over. But still, he didn't get flustered. He didn't let that stop him, nothing like that. And again, like I said, Triple H is right there, and also the fact that Triple H is making himself involved in this shows you how serious he's taking this and the type of star power he sees in Oba family. Because Triple H, he doesn't get involved in just anybody's story. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not going to show up. Like he's always
it was smart though.
Yeah, he's always in Gorilla and stuff like that,
Because you need that. That shows how powerful, if you're, we all know what wrestling is. It's predetermined. I never will call it fake. That's an insult to those men and women who've done it in the past, present, and future. That's an insult to people like Tim, myself, and everyone watching us who loves this. Fake is awful. I don't condone violence, but I understand why Dr. D smacked John Stossel. I don't condone that. You don't do it, but I get it because that's an insult. So predetermined, I say. But all that being known, if you Triple H doesn't come out when they have to be separated, even I like Adam Pearce. I like Nick Aldis. If one of them came out, it's like, no, you have two lethal weapons. The way they are right now, these are two of the most dangerous men WWE has ever seen. Brock Lesnar legitly is. I'm not sure if Oba is legit, but on paper, as far as the character, two of the most dangerous guys we've seen. You need Triple H to be like, whoa, I got to stop. Like, these guys can tear up the whole stadium. I need to get out here because the whole locker room, security can't stop it. That brings more to the storyline that he knows how big it is of an event, but he knows how dangerous these two guys are. And I better get in here because they'll rip each other's heads off and rip everyone around them heads off. That's what was great about it. That's what I love seeing Triple H in there for.
Right. I think if we didn't see Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis so much, I think maybe it might be different with those breakup segments and stuff like that, but it still wouldn't hit the same as Triple H being out there because Triple H, he's a former wrestler, and he's went toe to toe with Brock Lesnar before, so he knows what Brock is capable of. He's a Hall of Famer too.
But he's the guy in charge, and that shows how big it is.
He's the boss, you know what I'm saying?
But you're right, though, him being a former because let's say Vince is still in charge. That's a big thing. But there's something, I don't want to say Triple H makes it bigger, but it's different because of your point. He's a former wrestler.
Right, because think back to like when Stone Cold got Mike Tyson's face, right? And Vince was there, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And think of how big now that's an iconic moment now, you know.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and Vince being like, telling Austin, you ruined it, you know what I'm saying? You know, so that was a
I
big
remember
moment. So
watching that live. Yeah.
yeah, man, iconic moment, you know what I'm saying? Forever embedded in wrestling history. So it kind of brought me back to that, you know, a little bit. But yeah, man, that promo, that whole segment was just fire, man. It's just like when you go back and watch old clips of The Rock, and The Rock, he'll be standing there in the ring for like 2 minutes, and he'll just soak it in. He won't say a word, you know what I'm saying? He'll be moving his neck, like looking at the crowd and stuff, you know, and they'll be chanting Rocky, Rocky for like 2 minutes straight, you know what I'm saying? And like, yeah,
Everyone has
aura.
to find their way, and that's why I say Oba found his. Cody has to find his. You can't cop some people. What The Rock did, just like to your examples earlier, what Jake Roberts, only Jake. You can learn a little bit, but only Jake could do Jake. Only Bray Wyatt could do Bray. So I'm not saying Cody needs to just copy Oba or whoever. Find your voice. Your voice takes too long, though. The past couple years, it takes too long to get to the point, and I'm not feeling an anger. I'm feeling I'm disappointed in you for turning your back on me. I need to feel you pissed off. You fought hard to get the belt, Cody, and now all these people are coming out the woodwork to take what you fought so hard. You can still be a good guy. Plenty of people we know in life are good people, but they pissed off. You know they pissed off. Cody needs to stop being like a businessman and get pissed.
Yeah, and I'll say this one last thing about Cody, and then we'll move on and stuff. But this is the third year in a row where he's getting gypped, where it seems like people are just coming at him from all corners, all angles, outside people, and it's like he's going. It's like the third year in a row where it's Cody versus the world, basically, and
Yeah.
he's still acting like, you know. This is the one thing I will say, the one critique I'll give him, and that's not his fault because he's just going off the writing, you know, based on what they're giving him. But it's like he's still acting like the Boy Scout, and he's not getting mad like he should, and he's going up against the whole world. But last year was him against Cena and Travis Scott, and we thought The Rock at the time. The
And
year before that, he's going.
they went by him saying "f you," which took too long to build to anyway. Honestly, that was not as great as it could have been. What happened afterwards made it a great moment, but I do believe, and I think you're backing me. There's something missing there. And Stephanie, you know what would have made Stephanie McMahon smacking Cody? You obviously you don't put your hands on a lady. He didn't. He just took it and just had a face. Get mad.
I mean, he did
Make
grab her arm. He did grab her arm, and you know.
Did you? There was no believability. He didn't look pissed. He just grabbed. I need you. We know you're not going to hit her, but make it look like, oh, give the audience a thing like, is he going to put her in a hold? He going to do something? Make Stephanie didn't look scared. Make Stephanie look scared. Like, oh shoot, I've messed up. That's what we need. Don't do anything. You're the baby face, but guess what? Because that's what do we want to see with good guys in anything? What are we getting with Oba? What are we getting? We want to see as an audience in anything, they're good, but they kind of take it to the tippy toe of the line of, are they bad? Are they going to snap? Sometimes we like to see them snap a little bit but come back. That's what makes a great good guy. It's like he might snap, she might snap. I don't, and even if they never do, but you're not sure. They're like, they might go to the dark. They might find that Luke Skywalker, Return of the Jedi and stuff, and Empire Strikes. It was like, oh, Darth Vader's his dad. He can be turned. Is he going to go to the evil? He does not. But that had intrigue for you. That's, to me, to answer the question, because you always bring up, and it's true, you're right. It's so hard to be a babyface, but that's what you need. You need it to be, you're good. Maybe you come from the Boy Scouts and all that stuff. But guess what? When things happen to you, you might snap and do something that you might regret later, and we need to feel that from you. Oba gave us that Monday night, and I need some other people to start doing that more too.
Yeah, yeah.
So who you got? Who should win? Who will win?
Well, I don't even have to think about it. Obafemi should win, will
Mm-hmm.
win, must win, and that's where I want to win. So that's all. That's all I gotta say about
I
that.
love it. I love it.
The ruler goes over. He should. Only thing I'm worried about is he's had a lot of momentum over Brock, and you know we know Brock Lesnar. he has a history of whether he decides to put over somebody or not, it's all on him based on how much he respects you. So, but the fact he's given a lot to Oba shows that okay, he does
Who
respect
are
him.
some people you think Brock was going to put over but didn't? Let the audience know.
I thought maybe like AJ Styles at the very least when they wrestled, because they did have a good competitive back and forth, which is rare for a Brock Lesnar match post 2012.
Do you think Brock has that reputation of not putting people over?
I think so, and part of it might be on him, part of it not so much on him because again, he's not in control of the booking either. Even though they pay him a nice little big check and stuff, but he may have influence, but even he doesn't control all the ins and outs of the booking and stuff. So he's just going off what they tell him. But I'd say AJ Styles. I would say Daniel Bryan when they wrestled the following year at Survivor Series too. So those are like really the main two for me. So
Just
I,
want to
but I
know,
think
just
yeah,
because I just wanted to ask that so people have context of why you're saying that. I think it's valid, but I just wanted people to know like that
absolutely,
it comes from something.
yeah,
I love what you said. I want Oba to win. I think he should win. I think he must win.
yes,
I don't know how many you gave a lot. That was really good, but you gave a good promo. That was a lot of good ones. I don't know how many you went to, 4 or 5, but I'm gonna stop one short. I sadly don't think he will win. And I
mm,
hope I'm wrong. I hope Sunday night when we're talking, I'm like, Tim, I'm glad you were right. Because I'm with you on all the other ones. I think it's a must. It's a disappointment if he doesn't. He should. It's his time. I just have a feeling they're going to make him look dominant. I don't think it's going to be a match. He will probably dominate most of the match, but Brock gets it. Because I just feel like they love to protect that image of Brock.
yeah, and well, this goes back to like Stephanie and Liv, where it's like kind of 50-50. Even though Oba's been dominant for most of this build up, still it can go either way because one, to your point, I'm sure they probably want to protect Brock's image and stuff, him being that badass, the ass kicker and stuff like that. But it's on ESPN, ESPN proper, the main ESPN, where I'm sure it's going to be a lot more eyes watching this than I'm sure it's going to be on ESPN Plus. So it's a big moment for both, because for Obafemi, it gives people a chance to kind of get familiar with him. Um, and if he goes over, that's big, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't be surprised if they pull out a shock win for Brock Lesnar because it would be shocking, which is ironic to say for Brock Lesnar, right? Because he's almost never the underdog, but it feels like he's the underdog in this one.
A
So
little
I wouldn't
bit.
be I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the okey doke and have Brock go over because there was another rivalry, and we just mentioned him earlier. Remember when Brock faced Omos at WrestleMania 39? Omos, just like Oba, looked dominant in the weeks leading up to that WrestleMania. And what happened? Brock ended up coming out on top. He found a way to
And
overcome
Omos gave him some work. It wasn't a long
yeah.
match. It was a quick opening match.
And that's what it needed to be. That's what it needed to be. You know what I'm
I think
saying?
for those two, yes. I think Oba and Brock. I'm not saying they need to give me 60 minutes. I need to be a little bit longer than that, though.
Yeah. I'd say like 10 to 15. 10 to
Yeah.
15 at least. Yeah.
Yes. So I hope you're right, though, man. And I mean that. I hope
Yeah.
Oba wins it, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling that it's going to be Brock.
Yeah. I had that feeling too. I think a lot of us, especially like people in the black community, because, like how often do we get to see a black man in this position, a black wrestler in this position, the high profile match, the biggest show in wrestling, it seems like he's looked at being the future face of the company and stuff like that. So this is big for people in the black community. Like
I'm excited for him.
we
Yeah.
need this, you know what I'm saying? We need like we had Kofi Mania, it was a good ride. And then it didn't really last that long and stuff like that. And they teased a bunch of other things in between, but this is like this is it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to preserve, I talked about preserving the future earlier with Stephanie. This is really the one. I mean, I'm okay, like you said, with Stephanie losing, if that means Oba goes over. So I can sacrifice Stephanie, losing and stuff like that for Oba to go over and stuff. I feel like this match is important. This match is, like you say on Pop Culture 5, essential. I feel like Oba needs to win this. I swear to God, he needs to win this. So yeah, I'm pulling for Oba all the way.
Okay, I hope so. I will hurt you, Paul. I will hurt you. I was like, yeah. So I need to see more of that. But all right,
Promo
I
of the
know
year, man.
we spent a while on Oba versus Brock, but I think honestly, of any match to spend the longest on, I think by far it is that one. So I know me, I don't mind talking a little bit longer about that one because it's that impactful. That's build up, and to me, it has taken over as the unofficial main event of both nights, like you said. Yeah. So okay, we move on. Let's go to the ladies.
Mm.
This is a weird one.
And so far, it's the
Rhea
only.
Ripley
Yeah.
and the champ, Jade Cargill, for the WWE Women's Championship, a singles match. A match that we were excited about once we saw what was finally happening in Elimination Chamber back in February. Two powerhouses, as JR would say, two Brahma Bulls, Jade and Rhea. It's been a lot of Twitter battles and Twitter beefs and some weird promos, some sneak attacks. I love Rhea Ripley. Big fan of her. She's done her thing these years. Jade, I am intrigued. She's a lot of potential. This might be of all the matches something as the buildup has gotten closer and ramped up. My interest has decreased the most of any of the other matches that like I was excited for, but as we get closer, I'm just like, we're going this way right now. It's like, whoa, here, this is a snooze to the point where on some SmackDowns, the lovely Jade it comes on my television. I gotta be honest, Tim Lewis. I get up and do something. I keep it on, but I get me a drink or something, or I might take a quick bathroom break, or I make me a snack. It doesn't have me hooked like that. I can do it. I might scroll on the phone a little bit and do a little of this. It's gone this way. The trajectory's going down. What say you about Jade and Rhea?
Let me just say this: this is the only women's match of night 2 right now. Um,
A lot of
if you
pressure.
notice, like, yeah, so night 1 is dominated by women's match. It's like 3 women's matches on night 1, which is crazy. But like I said earlier, they canceled 2 other women's matches too. But so I kind of agree with you a little bit. I do like the addition of BFAB and Michin. 'Cause I do feel like they need something to do. As opposed, so at least they're not stuck in catering. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to like rebuild the baddies, but it's not doing enough. It's not enough. You know what I'm saying?
Being too nice. It stinks. It
Hold,
stinks.
but on paper, this should be box office. This should be bigger than what it is. But it's not hitting the way we thought it would. And they try to do something by having EO get involved. And remember what I said when this feud started, that they would do something similar to last year with Gunther beating Jimmy Uso to a bloody pulp to get under Jey Uso's skin and stuff. So they did that.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's probably the biggest highlight that's happened so far to make
I
it
like where they
personal.
were going with that. You didn't need BFAB. The fact that you said you're happy that BFAB is in this just is like that's what I don't even know where to begin with that. And like the baddies and you're like it's not landing. It stinks. It's not needed for these two powerhouses, these two fan favorites. You better be like Oba and Brock and you give me Paul Heyman's in it. Give me someone who
Well,
they add something. Don't
well,
give me BFAB and the baddies.
Well, I'm not saying like they're great, but I'm just saying like it gives more of a challenge for Rhea, more of an uphill battle. Because I feel like the two of them by themselves, it could be interesting, but I feel like they were trying like just add BFAB and Michin just to make it more interesting to stack the deck against Rhea. I feel like, you
Hmm.
know, that's all
Okay.
it is.
I'm gonna say this. I'm glad you brought up this point though, because it will connect. Because you're saying to give Rhea an uphill battle, and I think you're right. That's what they're doing. But also, that to me is the wrong booking for this match. It's the wrong booking for Jade. You know why I like the Irresistible Forces and Raquel Rodriguez? You know why I like them? Because it's not common sense. It's simple. These are tall, beautiful, big, strong ladies who are powerful. They're the strongest ladies probably in the locker room, the women's locker room. Show that strength. Jade is a strong, powerful. Rhea's uphill battle should just be Jade Carr. I'm facing Jade. Just like when Rhea and Charlotte had the battle, did Rhea need it? No, she's facing the Queen Charlotte Flair. Now, Rhea has been there longer, but Jade has the belt right now. So the uphill battle should be the opponent when you have someone the way Charlotte Flair is and the way Jade is billed. Now it seems like you're making her like a little like a heel the way Alexa Bliss and Liv need to do. They need that. For them, yes, you need the upper hand. They're not as big and powerful as Rhea or some of these other ladies. Jade Cargill is a powerhouse. She's an Amazon, a Wonder Woman in real life. That's all we need. That's all we need. Why do we need Rhea to have this uphill battle with these other ladies?
Because Jay's a heel, and Rhea, to your point, you mentioned Rhea is strong, just like Jade, tall. You know what I'm saying, fit. So Rhea is the only other person that can match Jade's size and strength and stuff. So I feel like Jade, she needs that extra assistance to kind of combat that and distract Rhea so she can get the upper hand. So
I
that's
think you can do it if you want to have Jade do some sneak attacks one-on-one. Fine, and then you could have it where Rhea gets the better in. The only way the help of the other people was cool was in the EO angle. That made sense. Even though you could have had Jade beat up EO on her own. We've seen that. Imagine if we saw kind of like, not to copy it, but remember when Batista came back and he's dragging Ric Flair before, like, what was that? Which WrestleMania was that? I
that
forget
was
which
30,
one.
35.
35. Thank you. Imagine that's all we needed from Jade. So we don't even need BFAB. Imagine if we just see her holding up EO bloodied up or something. And like, hey, where's your friend? And Rhea's in the ring giving a promo, and then you go to the big screen and you see that instant heat snap, or she's dragging her, or she's like carrying her over her shoulder. I knocked her out. Like, haha, where's your buddy at now? Like, that's what you need, man. This is bad that we now Jade to me looks smaller.
I mean, but the thing, it still works because she's a heel, and typically heels most of the time they're in factions, right? So I just think, and also I feel like they're trying to rehash what she did in AEW with the baddies and stuff. So all they're trying to do is just reform the baddies with the WWE remix, basically of that.
I'm not saying for the future Jade can't be in a faction as a heel. I'm not saying that if you're a powerhouse you can't be in a heel. I'm thinking for this kind of matchup, you don't need that. To me, let it start the Raw after next week or SmackDown, let it start there where you want to team her up. But for this build up and this match, you just need Jade versus Rhea is enough for wrestling fans. Just to me, not the match don't have to go the same way, but just to me, the way Rhea versus Charlotte Flair, I like that rivalry. Those matches intrigued me at those WrestleManias when Charlotte won and then when Rhea finally won. I didn't need nobody else. Those two ladies, I know what's up. They can match each other and they know it's the talk of the town. Who's the baddest on the block? Now we got this Jade just, I don't know. It just doesn't look as strong to me.
I mean, really, it's like the opposite of the Stephanie and Liv match, where it's just like they just throwing hands. It's seen. You can believe it's personal. And this rivalry is kind of the opposite, where it's just like mind games and like high school girl antics and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They call each other names on social media, and it started out hot because I don't know if they were working or shooting, but it was like some accusations like Jade doesn't get along with the other girls in the locker room and stuff. And it started out hot, like okay, you had some potential to do something with that, and it kind of fizzled out. And I feel like they added in, I guess, the baddies, Meechin and BFAB as like cannon fodder to distract Rhea and to add something. But like I said, it's not hitting the way they thought it would. But the only thing we can hope for now is that the match delivers. That's really the main thing. Is the match going to deliver? That's the only thing, really.
So, who do you have winning and who do you think should win?
Well, I think Rhea. I mean, she's had more Mania moments, and it's crazy to think that every WrestleMania she's been in has been a championship match. So that's impressive for her resume. And this is only Jade's third WrestleMania, her first Mania with a title involved. So
Mm-hmm.
I think most people are expecting Rhea to win, but I think Jade should win, and I think she will win.
I think Rhea should win.
Mm.
And to make it interesting, I think Rhea will win.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I think not all due to Jade, but the belt is meaningless on her the way it's been these months, and it's been a long time.
Yeah.
December, January, March, April, 5 months. It's meaningless. Let her lose with dignity, but shake it up and let Jade go back on the heel chase.
But
This has been pointless.
can we really put all the blame on Jade because
I
she
didn't
hasn't
say
really had.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
Okay,
it's
okay,
all on her.
because she hasn't really. Not a knock on her. She hasn't had a whole lot of competition. There hasn't been any credible faces for for her to defend against since she became champion. Like Tiffany was injured most of that time. Jordan Grace just got called up, then got injured like right after. So she hasn't really had a whole lot of credible faces. And the only other top names in the women's division on SmackDown are Charlotte and Alexa, but they're in a tag team. So they're busy chasing after tag titles and stuff.
I've told you what I think should have happened,
Mm-hmm.
which is she should have made appearances on NXT as well. Where they're not at a shortage of talent there. I don't want to hear that. They see there's some injuries, and this is where I don't know her pull, her say in it, but that's where I look at the company. We've seen other people make appearances from the big roster to NXT. Nia Jax did it. Other people have done those things. Rhea did it. Jade should be on NXT, causing havoc. You can make her look great, but get some in-ring stuff going here and show some interest. How many people would make it would have made a scene? Let's say Jade just destroys all the ladies in the NXT women's locker room or something like that. Like not all of them, but a good amount. Like Jade just looks like unstoppable. Jade has a match with one of some of the ladies in the NXT, and she's over, but she gets some ring rust off as champ. When we see her wrestle as champ, maybe he's not on SmackDown, but guess what? They're all related. It's on NXT, and we all know what happens on the other. If you're a fan of it, that was my thing. You're not at. It's not. Thank goodness it's not 20 years. It's not what Trish and Lita had to go through or China, where like there literally isn't that many ladies. We're not, thank God, we're not at that stage. They should have put her, in my opinion, they should have put her on NXT then once these ladies were getting injured on SmackDown. That's
Yeah,
just my opinion.
yeah. Yeah, so she was really in a bad spot, and we can't really fault her at all. But like you said, that would have been a good pivot to kind of just give her something to do in between WrestleMania season and stuff like that. So
Because the belt is not relevant right now.
no, well up until recently, no, it hasn't really been for like the last.
Stephanie's belt has been relevant.
Yeah,
And her and Liv, before that was agreed upon, but since it's been agreed upon, that belt matters. Like to me, right away, that belt, when I think of that match, yeah, the belt's a part of that. With Jade and Rhea, I kind of forget, oh, yeah, there is a belt on the line.
yeah,
It doesn't matter.
but also Stephanie has wrestled more and she's defended the title more.
Exactly.
So that helps too.
That's my point. You're making
Yeah,
my point.
yeah.
We need to see, and let you have to be of a high status. And Jade, hopefully she gets there one day. Jade don't have that where you can have the belt and be so infrequent. It annoyed me with Brock Lesnar. But guess what? I can say Lesnar has some status. But like when The Rock beat Cena, it annoyed me there. But guess what? The Rock has status.
Or the tribal
Jade don't
chief,
got that.
or
Hmm?
or Roman Reigns when he had it, he dipped off for like a little
All
bit.
have status. Jade has not gotten that status yet. One day, hopefully, she gets it. It ain't here, so you best to show that belt off in the ring, not just holding it up in a club box suite. That's
So
boring.
so let me ask you this before we move on. So would it hurt her faction if Jade suffered a loss? Would it hurt that because they just kind of formed this new faction? I don't know if they're gonna call it the baddies, but whatever they decide to call it, would it hurt the momentum of her faction stuff like that?
Do you think her faction has momentum? I would counter to you. Do you think people are really caring about that faction? Are they getting, and that's an honest question, are they getting attention? Like, ooh,
I
I
mean,
haven't felt it, but you are
it's
more in touch than I am.
I mean, I'm only speaking for me. I don't know what everybody else is thinking. I mean, maybe not, but I just think just because I've been watching wrestling for so long, would it mean more just to build that momentum? If people don't care about it, they could if she wins, especially on a big stage like WrestleMania. Like, do you think it would hurt her and Michin and B-Fab if she suffered a loss?
Not necessarily, depending on how she loses. Not
Yeah.
necessarily, but I think and I see what you're saying. Like, yes, this if they do it right, then this could give that faction. If they cheat Rhea, maybe and Jade gets the win because they cheated, that could give them some good heat, like and build off of that. But you better nail it. You better nail it. Then that's a lot of high pressure then to nail this execution.
Remember what we talked about earlier, how the faces are better at chasing, and right now, who's the face in this scenario? Rhea. Now, I know Rhea is technically a Raw superstar, but she's only on SmackDown just because she won the Chamber, and the women's title on SmackDown was the only other option to go to because Liv and Stephanie was already booked. Now, I don't know if Rhea stays on SmackDown after this, but let's say, okay, Rhea does lose, goes over, she retains, clean or dirty finish, however it goes down. I mean, we've seen Rhea, she's had some good chase moments. Like, she chased Liv for like more than half a year, for the
Yeah.
title up until she got it at that first Raw on Netflix, great moment and stuff like that. So I can see Liv, I keep saying Liv. I can see Rhea chasing Jade for like the next couple months in the summer.
I
You
will
know what I'm
say
saying?
this: you make a good point there, which is where I don't know what Rhea's next thing is either. Both
Hmm.
of them are very weird. Where I mean, they're obviously amazing. Like Rhea, we know is awesome. She's the way I talked about Liv earlier. Rhea's a total package where she's on the screen the way Bianca Belair. Like I'm watching it if she's talking, if she's doing a promo, if she's wrestling. I'm watching Rhea Ripley. She's got that. Jade does not have that, but both of them potential, but I don't know what their next step is. So it might be wise to keep this going because I don't know where you take Jade next. I don't know where you take Rhea next either,
Well, I
especially if she's a champion. I'm like, who is her next foe
well,
for Rhea?
I'll say this: if they don't have any other future opponents, any future stories lined up after this, I say keep this going. Like you said, keep it going at least until like June or something like that.
June.
Well, not June. Well, at least for like the next, at least till Backlash or something like that. At least till,
I'm not gonna lie. I know this is only to keep me going if you give me a good match Sunday
yeah. That's
because
what it comes down to. That's what
the
it comes down
story
to.
hasn't like let's say God forbid Liv and Stephanie have a bad match. I still which would stink. I still would want to see I'd be like, let's do this, let's run it back here. This buildup has gone down so much for me that I'm kind of like, you better have a match not saying to this level, but let's be real. The Io Rhea Bianca last year was such a surprise that guess what? I was down to see Io and Rhea battle out the next month, and they gave another great match with a great turn at the end with Naomi and stuff. But
Hmm.
that came from giving me a great rest. Before that, we were talking. We were like, "Why is Io in this?" They earned it. Jade and Rhea, sadly, you're in that spot right now. You better give me a great match then. Otherwise, remember last year, Tiffany and Charlotte sucked. I was done with it. I'm like, I don't need to see them no more together.
Hmm.
This is crap. They better make it work.
Yeah. So the pressure is definitely on for sure.
Okay.
I can see us going if there's nobody else lined up for each of them, but I would say, and also it depends really if Bianca's going to be ready to go after this, because it's like they've been wanting to do Jade and Bianca too.
No, they'll be it'll be. This is one I'm interested to recap with you Sunday night to see how this one, especially that match will be on Sunday.
Yeah.
So to see how this one comes out, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping we're very surprised. Trust me, I want great wrestling. I want excitement. So when I say something isn't going, I don't think it's going to be good. I don't want to be right and yeah, it sucked. I want to be proven wrong all the time. Tim can tell you, I did not think Naomi could pull off being a heel. He did. I'll give him credit. When she did it, what did I go? Whoa! I was like, "This is awesome." You were right. I'm glad I was wrong. So I got no problem admitting I'm wrong. And for any of these things, I hope I can say I'm wrong all across the board for the matches I don't think are going to be exciting. So I just want that to be out there.
Yeah.
But I know we got time here. Let's look at Sami Zayn real quick versus Trick Williams. I'll go first, I guess. A match that I like what Trick's build-up is. I like him getting hype. I honestly didn't. I think we've been saying that with two nights, there shouldn't be people left off WrestleMania. But this is a match I don't think needed to happen. I don't think they had someone with Trick in mind. And I like Sami Zayn. I'm a Sami fan, but this felt like a forced match. And one that I like both guys. I'm fans of both guys. I'm not excited about, though. But I'm not like down on it. But I think like for talking about the ladies who weren't on here and stuff, if there's a match I can point to that I'm like, yeah, you could put one of those ladies matches that's not happening anywhere. It's take away the Sammy and Trick matchup and put one of their matches in. That's how I feel. But all that being said, I'm Trick all the way. He should win. He will win. What do you think?
Same. I think Trick definitely should win, will win. It's his moment. It's his time. Just like, we talk about Obafemi. It's definitely his time. And, it's time to usher in a new guard, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely time for the future. And Trick, he's super. We talk about how over Oba is. Think how over Trick is right now. So he's got cities every single week chanting, whoop that Trick, whoop that Trick. He's got the fly entrance and stuff like
It's
that.
impressive.
The charisma, like, it's crazy, man.
Let me ask you a quick question. Who gets you thinking about the future, you get more excited about? Obafemi or Trick Williams?
I think it really depends on the week. Sometimes I might say Oba, especially after this past Monday on Raw. But then Trick, it's just like he's so witty with his one-liners and stuff and his catchphrases. He, the entrance and everything like that. Especially with the whole like the that platform he comes around, the spotlight shining up. Like it just looks cool, man. It looks cool. Not sure how I feel about Lil Yachty being added to it, but I get why they're doing it. It's WrestleMania, so it's whatever. But Trick, he's great by himself. And he definitely deserves this, and he should go over. And I think he can have a great U.S. title run, especially going into the summer. Now, I will say, I was actually expecting this match. I'm like kind of opposite of you, where I was expecting this to go down for Mania, because think about Trick's debut on the main roster. His first interaction was with Sami Zayn, and they were building up from there. And they haven't had a match yet. They haven't touched yet, So I knew this match was coming. I didn't think it would be for the title. Now, me personally, I would have kept the U.S. title on Carmelo Hayes and had that payoff match between Carmelo and Ilya Dragunov. I would have saved that for WrestleMania because they had the time, they had the build up, they had the story, especially going back to NXT. You had, and there are two baby faces too, so you had that respect factor. I would say that for Mania and
That's my point.
Let Sammy and Trick do their own thing.
That's my point.
Or make this a fatal 4-way or triple threat with Carmelo involved.
Okay, that's not bad. I like that.
Because it makes no sense for Melo to be ousted and be left off the card, especially after the hard work.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially after the hard work he's put in, building that title back up.
You gave a different scenario, but this is the match that doesn't need to happen. If any match doesn't need to happen on both nights, it's this one. And whatever, I'm not saying that those two don't deserve to be on WrestleMania, but in whatever iteration, and the ones that you said, even some of the ladies' matches that I said, these two, and in this scenario, does not need to happen. I think I agree with you. Carmelo has earned it more. Trick is hot, but honestly, over either one of these two, I think Carmelo earned the right to be there to do something with it. The 4-way idea is cool. I do like that. That would have been a cool thing. I know they already have plenty of. I think maybe that's why, because they're like, we have 4 ways, triple. They have a lot of you have a 6-pack ladder. They got so many that I think they don't want to make it that way. But I would have been okay with one more addition if they would have made that a 4-way. So I think that's the best scenario. But we're saying the same thing. This match doesn't need to happen.
Yeah, especially since Carmelo technically missed WrestleMania last year. Like he had got drafted to SmackDown. what was it, 2024? You know what I'm saying? That spring right after Mania. And he missed WrestleMania last year. He won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, but that wasn't technically part of the show. You know what I'm saying? So
So
it's a shame that he's going to miss 2 WrestleManias in a row, I feel like.
yeah,
So
but okay. So we're there with Trick. All right, we'll try to go quick with these two. Punk versus Roman. Let's go there because let's get that out the way. Singles match for the championship. Two guys, maybe you can make a case, the two biggest names in the business in WWE right now. You can make a case for that. By that sense, I get it. Yet, even though Seth was involved, they were in a match at WrestleMania last year. I think that hurts the intrigue for me. It was like I saw y'all last year. That's why I think Oba and Brock should be the main event, the last match, because I'm like, we kind of saw these two doing that last year. CM Punk is exciting in the ring. He gives you a good match. Roman has charisma. I think it'll be a good match. I don't think it'll be a great match. I think it'll be good. I wonder if there's going to be some twists and turns here with somebody coming out as it's the main event and to finish off WrestleMania. Raw after Mania finishes it off, but to finish off the WrestleMania event, I think I can see something going to happen. But I think Roman's going to win, and I think he should win. How about you?
wow. The thing about Roman winning is, he's not going to be there all the time. And I feel like, especially Netflix, like Raw's on Netflix. Netflix, they need a world champion that's present all the time, I feel like. So I'm going to go with CM Punk winning just because, yes, he got a chance to finally main event WrestleMania last year, and he's main eventing again, this time night 2. So he's closing out the overall event, so that's great for him. But I feel like for Punk, I feel like he definitely needs this, and I feel like he should win. But I'm gonna agree with you halfway, and I think Roman will win.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Punk should win just because he's come a long way, and I feel like he definitely deserves to win at least one main event at WrestleMania and walk away as champion, stuff like that. But I think Roman will ultimately get it back. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying he's going to go on another 1,000-day run, but we'll see how that goes if it does happen. But I get money talks, and he's a draw, right? So
I
I'm just
think
worried. I'm just worried about him not being there.
Roman has showed he doesn't always have to be there. He's gotten that kind of status. His name matters. And I think if you do it right, you don't have to have another tribal like chief scenario. But if you put the right people around him, they can keep it when he's not there. They can keep that heat going. So I think that'd be a juice and a bump that's needed if the tribal chief comes back after he lost it 2 years ago. But now he's got it back. He needs a WrestleMania moment back here. He's making a run at trying to take over the title of Mr. WrestleMania from Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, you can make a case.
He's trying to take that title back there. You got to have the moments. And I think a win over the best in the world on Sunday night, in whatever fashion he does it, I think it's the jolt. CM Punk is fine. And I think people like the underdog CM Punk. He personifies that. That's why people relate to him. He's not the biggest, whatever. But you need a jolt to the belt right now. CM Punk has done it well. But I think to shock people into this new season, mix it up a bit. Wouldn't it be something on SmackDown? Randy? Let's see him. He's the real. He's going to save the industry. Let's see what he does. Raw, the OTC is back. He's got a little swag back here. He's been used sparingly in some good places, but since losing the belt, and I always acknowledge him, but it hasn't had that juice. We need that juice back, man. We need that juice. Roman Reigns, it's his time. Acknowledge.
It's interesting, but it's like, I don't know. This match, the way it started, it had so much heat, like similar to Jade and Rhea. Like it started out hot, and then like week to week, Like they thrown some personal jabs at each other. Like Punk mentioned, he's going to bury Roman next to Sika, next to his father and stuff.
Yeah, that was big. Yeah.
And I know Punk later apologized for that. I think that may have been a shoot. I think where he apologized to him. I think that was real.
I want. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder. Because I know the next week Roman was supposed to say something else. They were supposed to get more personal, but then they pulled back on it. I think he was supposed to mention something about Punk's dog passing away, and I know, that means a lot to Punk because he loved that dog. He loved the hell out of that dog. Or he was going to mention something about AJ. He referenced AJ, but didn't go fully in there. So I think he was like purposely holding back. I think maybe due to Punk not being comfortable, whatever. It's like you had the potential to make this big, and like this had the potential to be on Rock Austin type of vibes to match that energy from their feud at WrestleMania. But I don't know. It's just not
Well,
hitting.
it's got cross contaminated. You know, it's like, oh, are Punk and Cody, they're in a line? Like, it's gotten weird. Instagram
Yeah,
things and on
yeah.
social media, and Punk coming at McAfee, and I'm like, well, which main event scenario are you in?
And then you
Are
got the
you going to be?
Usos
Is this
involved too.
huh?
Then you got the Usos involved too.
Right, right. So I'm like, does this mean that you're setting up interference? Yeah, y'all going to interfere in these matches, which could be intriguing, maybe. But I'm like, what are we doing here? Because now I'm like, Punk coming at McAfee and the promo, and McAfee responded, and I'm like, wait a minute, Isn't Cody your prize? And I think today we kind of got back on track a little bit with that. But then it's like, what that did though, it takes away from Punk and Roman to being like, oh. What's Punk? What's going to happen with Punk and McAfee? What's he meaning? What's there? So like, it's kind of been just a cluster, and
Yeah, yeah. Because
maybe it can pay off, but it's weird.
maybe, and I know it's like it's the night 2 main event, and night 2 is typically the real main event of WrestleMania. So whoever closed night 2, like you're the actual main event. Not taken away from Cody and Randy, but night 2 is the actual main event. But I just think Cody and Randy has a little bit more heat going into Mania than Roman and Punk, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? Because this should be big. Like, you got two of the biggest stars in the company right now. You got CM Punk, who's controversial and stuff like that. He's a big
Well, you
name.
said it wrong. I'm sorry to cut you off. You said it wrong. Cody, Randy, and Pat McAfee have more heat than Punk and Roman. Sorry to cut you off. Just want to make sure to clarify.
And by the way, the only reason Pat McAfee is in that spot is because of Ari Emanuel, who's the president of and owner of Endeavor that owns TKO. That's the parent company of WWE and UFC and stuff. So that's the only reason Pat's involved in that storyline, because of Ari Emanuel.
And do you think he would do that if the box office, if the numbers were good? Would he have said that?
Probably not. You know, it wasn't like this last year, and he's the reason Travis Scott was involved in the main event last year.
Ari Emanuel?
Yes,
Yeah, because it was a cluster.
but ticket sales weren't
Now,
down like they were this year, though.
it was a mistake, though. Ari made a mistake. And I know I watch Ari Emanuel has a podcast, Rushmore. I do enjoy it. I knew his company. I didn't know Ari was making decisions like this here for WWE. I don't like it at
No,
all.
no.
Stay in the back, not seen and not heard, honestly, for Ari Emanuel. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. I do think this main event, whether he realized that or not, I don't know. I think he's not dumb. He may not be a wrestling booker, but he's not dumb. It needed some juice. And Pat was the best scenario, who knows wrestling. Pat's a hot name right now. It needed juice. I don't know how you can argue it didn't, Tim. It was boring. It needed something. It was not interesting.
Well, that's why.
And all that they threw at it was still boring.
Well, that's why I said it's a retread from last year with Cody and Cena, except they have swapped out one legend for another and one celebrity for another. And like you're basically doing a do-over of a video game. You're just starting the game over and you're doing it over. But that's all it is.
Yeah, last year there was a big plan. You knew
Yeah.
that. Like,
Clearly,
they set it
yeah.
up. This year, I think they had to pivot. It was a snooze. We said it. It was boring, man. It was not good. Why is it that this main event in the past like 2 weeks, it's got a little something. It stunk. So I don't blame Ari Emanuel. I don't like how he did it. I don't like that he's doing it. For Travis Scott, that's crazy. For this one, I get it, though. I get it. And maybe it sucks on Saturday night and it's not good, but I can understand the attempt. I really can.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that might disagree and they think this match would have been fine without Pat's involvement. But I mean, I get what you're saying too for business and stuff like that, and for intrigue. And like I said, I even said like I'm not against Pat being paired with Randy. I just feel like the timing is just off. I feel like it's a little too soon. You know, but
I feel like it was forced, and we know
yes,
it was.
yes.
We know it was. But and I don't like that it's forced, and it felt forced, and then it was confirmed that it was forced. It was something. It wasn't like I don't get why you're doing this. It's like, yeah, for me, I know why you're doing it. Yeah, something needed to happen because before this McAfee involvement, I was telling you they made a mistake, and it should be Drew. Like that's how boring it was. And you throw out Stephanie McMahon, and you throw all the, and it still was a snooze. That's bad. How you snooze with Stephanie? Stephanie made Ronda Rousey interesting, but not Cody. Cody couldn't get it done. So, bravo, Pat McAfee. Thank you. All right. Jeez, Tim.
I think that's just you. You're in the minority here. I think that's just you.
Really? Were ticket sales not down?
Ain't got nothing to do with Cody
Was
and Randy though. Ain't got nothing to do with Cody and Randy. I think it's
we're
just
okay. So your main events don't affect the interest of tickets. Okay, that's
the
good to
tickets.
know.
Have you seen the prices of the tickets?
Man, people pay money for all kind of stuff. Man, if they would have done it differently, what is so crazy now that they sold out last year?
Yeah, but the tickets weren't crazy. Like tickets didn't cost more than your mortgage last year. That's the difference.
Really? For some of those hot up close? I agree. Like there's some tickets that like cost so much that like you're not even like close to the front.
Yeah, like for VIP, those like front row or floor seat tickets, they can be pretty pricey. And then also like some of the packages they have involved, like the meet and greets, and all that's the fan access and all that stuff like that, or souvenirs you might get that might be included. So I can get why it might be expensive, but just regular, just to enjoy the show, like still, it's WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, the price is gonna go up, but they weren't like outrageous. They weren't astronomically expensive like they are right now. They
Yeah.
just recently dropped the ticket prices, I think like 25%. So they have gone down a little bit, but they could go a little bit lower. They really could. They really could go lower. A lot lower.
I think it's a chicken and egg thing. I think ticket prices have a factor. I think his intrigue was we've talked about it. You opened the show again, underwhelmed. I think that has played just as big a part. Trust me, no one wants it more. I wish as a country we could unite against big corporations and be like, we're not spending money and get them to lower stuff. It doesn't happen. So as much as I wish, like, oh, we could unite in WWE and TKO, Endeavor, blah, blah, blah. I know if the intrigue was there, people pay money to go to these things. There's somebody going. That always winds up happening in real estate when I'm doing my job in the day, trying to help people find places to live. And I'm like, man, these prices, they keep jacking them up. If they stay on the market, they'd have to lower them. They always find somebody who's going to rent it. Like it's just always someone does it. So I think if the intrigue was there, I wish I was wrong. People would have bought those tickets. I think that to me is why Ari Emanuel got involved. Number one, I don't think that's the only reason, but I think it's the top reason.
Yeah, but do you think that business model? Do you think it's going to last long term?
Which business model?
Like as far as like these ticket prices, because their goal, they want to make it, they want to make WWE like UFC. Because UFC, their ticket prices are high and they attract like a lot of like high profile people in attendance and stuff like that. So they want to make, but it's not that though. Wrestling in general has always been like a family type of thing, or people that are
Yeah,
like working
yeah.
class, so.
Wrestling, you have to change the model of it because, and I'm not a big fan of what goes down at UFC matches anymore. I mean, I am a fan of mixed martial arts, but just the things I heard, it's just like a walking. Everything that people talk about toxic masculinity is represented, and I'm not even talking about the fighters. in the crowds. It's represented at UFC events now. So I don't like that. But to be fair, that is not scripted sports entertainment. That is unpredicted. That raw, like masculine, and the ladies there too. Like that's why it's like, man, people. I talk to people who are at UFC fights. They're like, fights are always breaking out in the crowd because you just get that that in a bad way, toxic way. We got to do something. I don't think you can really reach that, and I'm glad you can't, me personally, at a scripted thing. You can't get that kind of event. I think celebrities always have gone to boxing when boxing was the top sport. If you see a big boxing match now, when they get them, there's still a bunch of celebrities. There is something different going to a live sporting event, and then you throw in a live combat event that WWE is not going to match UFC with that. But to your point, what they can match it with is it's a fun, entertaining, exciting family, or you go with some group of friends, it's a fun thing. But you can't be UFC. UFC can't be WWE either. Like they can't be them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm only talking about as far as like profit and stuff like that because they know UFC is, regardless of the toxic masculinity, it's still very profitable. You know what I'm saying? They
But
make a lot.
that's their profit comes from those events.
Yeah, but they also have expensive tickets too, but they still make profit, and they want WWE to kind of match that, and they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
That's what I'm
always
saying. WWE's business model. UFC doesn't have UFC when it comes like they're on Paramount, which is like a nice thing for UFC, but they're not established. Like WWE, everyone wanted that. Everyone wants them. UFC was on ESPN, and that was like whatever. They're on Paramount. I don't even. I have people, friends of mine, who have Paramount. It's whatever. It's okay. But they're not making. I'm not like, oh, this is UFC'd up, and they're making it theirs. It's like almost like AEW and HBO Max. It's like, oh, you have a little section. I don't even notice it sometimes. But they're different because they are the live events, and then they're also bars and stuff carry those matches. So that to me is their big thing. Like bars and places will buy UFC to have on Saturday night, and they'll serve food and beer and drinks until the main event happens. WWE doesn't need that. They don't have that. It's different, and so to me, WWE is a live event thing, but also people like watching it at home a lot. People like watching Raw and this episodic television, and they like Raw and SmackDown. People follow their YouTube. It's just different. So unless they want to change the business model, I don't know why they're doing this because it's just two different things. If something happens, no one goes to the events, UFC screwed. UFC needs those live events more than WWE needs them. WWE did well in we talked about it on our episode on the podcast in the Thunderdome with no one there. They did well. UFC more than WWE needs those events in my opinion.
yeah, yeah.
So
I'm just worried that similar to Time Warner when they took over WCW. That I'm worried that TKO they're having more of an influence on the creative because that's something we kind of talked about like on our WWE ESPN episode on the podcast like months ago. Like how this going to look, and Triple H going to still have control, and it looks like now that they have more of an influence because it was Ari Emanuel who made the call to insert Pat McAfee, and it was his call to insert more celebrities like Jelly Roll, like I Show Speed, and a few other people and stuff like that.
those all have stunk, minus the McAfee. I respect Jelly Roll, but it's just too much. I Show Speed sucks.
Yeah,
LA Knight beating him up doesn't even impress me.
and it's crazy because we were just talking about on our episode, which it'll be out, I guess, the time when this episode drops too, how celebrities were, I guess you say, essential, important to the success of that first WrestleMania with Mr. T and Billy Martin and Muhammad Ali, but only when it's done right. You know what I'm saying? But we do too much of it, like say Travis Scott. That's a bad example. You know what I'm saying? Or I Show Speed, or even like going back a couple years ago with Snooki. You know what I'm saying? Those are like bad examples, and like doing too much. I feel like
Wrestling was as you listen to in our episode, even though there's a lot of people who thought it was predetermined, I'll say there are still more people who thought it wasn't predetermined than there is now. And look who they picked. Now, in reality, we know Mr. T. Not saying he's soft. I'm not saying he's not to the comment. He probably could, in his prime against us, would probably whoop us. So I'm not coming, Mr. T. But the image of Mr. T, especially in 1985, you see him in Rocky 3 and he looks cut and chiseled. On the A team, he's throwing people around. He looks like people think he's tough. So no one thinks mentally Jelly Roll, he's gone through a lot in his life, but no one's just like Jelly Roll's a badass. So to me, where it messes up now is too many I show speeds and stuff. No. What I want to see more of, give me more pro athletes. I don't know if we have too many box office like action stars I want to see right now, but give me more like pro athletes. Give me some football players, retired or like not too retired, but like recently retired or playing, doing something. Give me more of that. That's a more believable. I show speed is boring.
I
That's not
think,
believable.
well, I think they were trying to like work Tom Brady into a program, because I don't know if you remember, like Tom Brady and Logan Paul got into a little thing during like a flag football tournament like a month ago or so, and they were trying to like work something out. And Tom Brady, he said some things about wrestling, how it's cute and all that stuff like that. He don't take it seriously. Now that was a work, because they were actually working towards something, but I guess plans must have fell through. Now he still could make an appearance. We don't know, but I don't know if that was like working towards a match or anything like that. But that's all it was. But I think Tom Brady, to your point, that could have been a big deal. I think, because he's a former pro football. He's retired
Yeah,
now, but you know,
it definitely would have been a big deal. I don't
yeah.
know if it would have been good, but it would have been a big deal.
Yeah, they could have brought Bad Bunny back, and he was successful. His last two appearances were successful.
Yeah, he was one of the, but I mean, the amount of work he put into it, I mean, was impressive, and it
Yeah,
just clicked.
yeah,
He's the exception to the
yeah,
rule. I think celebrity factor obviously it was important for the history of the business in WrestleMania, but you're getting too far gone
yeah.
with
It's
some
just
of
too
these
much now.
guys.
Yeah, they're focused too much on quantity because they're worried about ticket prices and stuff, and the intrigue. Where instead of just building up a good story, just tell a good story and set up some good matches that we want to see. Instead of relying on streamers and movie stars and all that stuff like that.
Well, you know, I've enjoyed Raw on Netflix. Going on like a year and a half. We're coming up on soon, right? I remember on the old podcast, Bigger Than the Game with Deremy and Jose, you came on right after that first episode. And we talked about it, and it was a big deal. It was a success, right? And it got a lot of attention for like days and a week afterwards because Hogan got booed and Macaulay, all the celebrities who was there. Do you think that could have hurt stuff? Because then they saw that model with all the celebrities there on a Raw. It was a big deal, first one on Netflix, but do you think that stuck out in the board or TKO or Ari Emanuel's mind of like, we can do more of this?
Yeah, I do feel like with anything trendy, like people gonna run it to the ground, until it's dry, until the well is dry and stuff. So, because you can see they had something planned, like especially they tease. It looked like they were teasing something with The Rock and Roman when they had that little moment, because they've been trying to set up Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania for years, right?
Hmm.
And I feel like last year would have been like their last shot. Now they could do something next year, because I heard they're trying to get The Rock to sign on for WrestleMania next year in Saudi Arabia. Is still TBD if it's still going to be over there, given the situation with the U.S. and Iran and stuff. But that's a conversation for another time. But they had the moment right there, and then they kind of floundered with that. They fumbled it. But yeah, all the celebrities being involved and how big of a success that was, like, yeah. And it started a trend, because we started seeing more celebrities appear on Raw right after that. We saw people like they wouldn't even think were wrestling fans. It's like you see Fabulous at a show, like, oh, hey, Fab there. It's like you see Dave East. I remember seeing DJ Drama at one show. They didn't shout him out, but I saw in the background. I was like, DJ Drama, and someone in the hip hop world who listened to his mixtapes coming up. I'm like, that's kind of big for me. I was like, okay, DJ Drama in the crowd, okay. You see Matthew McConaughey, he's been involved. You've seen him. Macaulay Culkin,
Hmm.
Topanga, Daniel Fishel. You know,
Yeah, we've
so
seen a
yeah,
lot of people.
yeah. So I think it from last year up until now, it just started this trend of celebrities just coming in and being involved, which isn't a bad thing if it's not too much. But I feel like now it's just too much, and it's not so much the celebrities appearing because we're used to seeing them in the crowd, but them being involved in storylines. Like I mentioned, Lil Yachty, he's involved in Trick Williams and Sami Zayn stuff. You got Jelly Roll involved with Pat McAfee in the WWE Championship match with Randy and Cody. You got iShow Speed involved with the Vision and the Usos and LA Knight. Like it's just too much going on. Like they're too much involved in the show. Like I don't mind if they're like a guest referee or maybe a manager type of role, but like you got them involved in matches now. It's like I don't know, So it's yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be Mr. T or Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying? So
No, absolutely. So I know this one went long, but this has been fun. I'm excited because WrestleMania, I don't take it for granted. And I can't say I always felt this way, but as I've gotten older, able to see another WrestleMania, to see one of the big spectacles and all of entertainment happening, it's always interesting. It's always at least kind of fun. I know what I'm going to be doing Saturday night and Sunday night, and I want everyone listen, let us know what you think, comment, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be back. We will drop it probably early Monday morning, our reaction to the WrestleMania event, what we liked, what we didn't like, highlights, lowlights, how we feel overall about both Saturday and Sunday. So look for that early Monday morning, our reaction to WrestleMania 42. So yes, please, and also listen to our podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple or Spotify, for our recent episode coming out. What if WrestleMania 1 failed? I know, Tim, you had a lot of fun with that, just like me. So
absolutely.
please check that out. Really interesting. Really fun to do that with you and go over the scenarios. I mean, if WrestleMania 1 fails, we don't have this YouTube channel. We're not
Yeah.
talking about it. So many things would be so different. I think more than people realize, Tim, in
Yeah.
pop culture, if March 31st, 1985 would have bombed.
Yeah, man, and I definitely had a lot of fun with the episode, and like I said on the show, like wrestling, WrestleMania 1 doesn't work, then wrestling doesn't become this big pop culture thing in our lives. You know what I'm saying? And I can't think of what wrestling would be if it wasn't in my life, or what my life would be without wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm sure it's probably the same for you too. So yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely go check that out. And we're also on iHeartRadio too.
Yes. So for my tag team partner, Mr. Tim Lewis, I'm Deremy Duff. Thank you guys for watching Tables, Ladders, and Conversations. Happy WrestleMania. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope it's fun. Please do it up. If you got friends, get together, whatever the case may be, have a good time with it. But thank you guys for watching Tables, Ladders, and Conversations.